The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Oh, man, do we have a lot to discuss. The Jets have been busy as free agency officially getting underway. Not one, not two, but three signings and a trade. We bring you the latest. It's the Jake Asman Show, live on a Monday, free agency underway. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Free agency is underway. Click the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be live breaking down everything you need to know. As always, we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. The Jets, they have been busy today, real busy. The day started before free agency even began, where the Jets acquired Minkah Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins for a 7th-round pick. They then signed him to a 3-year, $40 million contract. We still need to figure out how much of it's guaranteed. How is the contract actually structured? But Minkah Fitzpatrick for a 7th-round pick, as we talked about earlier today, a no-brainer, a great move by Darren Muji. Then the Jets, they have stayed busy. They have signed an old friend. Demario Davis is back for a 3rd stint with the New York Jets. 2 years and $22 million. But wait, the Jets are not done. They also have signed Joseph Ossai away from the Bengals to a 3-year, $36 million contract. And another signing, Kingsley Enagbare, 1 year, $10 million. So the Jets staying busy with several moves and trades to this point. Plus, there are some free agents that have left the Jets. That's right. I'm just seeing now Nick Folk is signing a deal with the Atlanta Falcons. So the Jets now need another kicker. Don't love that. Don't know why the Jets couldn't find a way to retain Nick Folk. We'll talk more about that coming up. And John Simpson signed a deal with the Ravens. So the Jets, it was expected they were not going to bring back John Simpson, and that is indeed the case. John Simpson signing elsewhere. But let's start with the moves the Jets have made, and then we could cover some of the moves they haven't made and some of the moves around the league, a la Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins and how that impacts the Jets' pursuit of a veteran quarterback like Geno Smith. But let's start with the move that I think most Jet fans are really excited about, and rightfully so. Demario Davis is back. Look, we were discussing for months the Jets signing a guy like Alex Anzalone to be a leader for the defense. You know, Glenn's taking over the play calling. His job is on the line. Anzalone was with him in Detroit. Linebacker, where's the green dot? Play caller for the D. And then I said, well, wait a second. Aaron Glenn was in New Orleans with Demario Davis. Demario Davis has been a Jet 2 other times. He's older. He's 37, but the guy is still an ass kicker. The guy is still a baller. He is a phenomenal leader. Why wouldn't Demario Davis be in the conversation? And sure enough, he is in the conversation. The Jets have signed him. And for those saying he's too old, what are they doing? These were his numbers according to PFF last year. This guy still graded out as one of the best linebackers in the league. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how this guy has gotten better with age, especially at that position. He's like the Benjamin Button of football. But Demario Davis is still a damn good player. He'll turn 38 in January. This is a guy that began his career with the Jets, had that 1 year in Cleveland. The Jets brought him back, and then they let him go again, and they never should have. He didn't make his first All-Pro team until he was 30 in 2019. So this guy is still a really good player. And the biggest thing, he's a leader, man. He's an adult in the room. When you add Minkah Fitzpatrick, veteran, leader, adult in the room for the secondary, now you have your play caller for the defense. The Jets were the worst defense any of us have ever seen last year. They didn't have an interception. And beyond that, guys were running wide open. The communication was piss poor. Demario Davis will help fix that, even if he's not what he once was. But he's still, again, a good player. All the numbers back that out. Demario Davis will help the New York Jets win football games. He'll help instill the culture that they're desperately trying to instill. I like the move. It doesn't cost you a ton. And again, with any of these contracts, always wait until you see the fine print. Always wait until you see how much of it is actually guaranteed. But the Jets, they were in on Alex Anzalone. He ends up signing a 2-year, $17 million deal. I have a funny feeling Demario Davis at 2 years and $22 million, the guarantees for him are a lot less than what Anzalone's guarantees were. And that's why the Jets went with Davis at the end of the day. And I like Demario Davis a lot. He was one of my favorite Jets when he was here the first go around. I remember Darrelle Revis once raved about Demario Davis's leadership. Rex Ryan compared Demario Davis to Ray Lewis as far as leadership goes. Not as a player, but just some of the traits that he saw in Ray Lewis when Rex, of course, was with the Ravens before he became the head coach of the Jets. Davis is a good player. I like this signing a lot from a Jets standpoint. The other moves the Jets have made, quite simply, they need edge depth, right? I mean, Joseph Ossai is a guy that you're getting on a 3-year, $36 million deal. He's had 10 sacks over the last 2 years with the Bengals. Again, we'll see how much of this is actually guaranteed. I saw somewhere around $22 million, but that's kind of the going rate for pass rushers. And again, this hopefully means there's no more Michael Clemens on the team, right? There's no more guys that don't belong on this team that are here. They're completely revamping this defense. No more UDFAs none of us have ever heard of taking meaningful snaps on the defensive end slot for the Jets. They have rebuilt the interior. We know Phillips and Briggs will be back. They made the deal trading away Jermaine Johnson to bring in Tavondre Sweat. They're rebuilding the defensive line. They have to. They have no choice. This team was in shambles up front, and you can't win if your team's in shambles up front, as we all know who watch football. And then the final move they made, Kingsley Enagbare. This is a guy that is basically taking kind of like a prove-it deal. 1 year, see what you got, see what you could do, that type of move for Kingsley. I know Will Parkinson, who joined us earlier, was very high on his upside. Again, 1 year deal. It's only 26. He's a guy that I think a lot of people like the potential. He'll give you some juice as a pass rusher if he's used properly. Be curious to see if the Jets play him more inside or if they line him up on the edge. He's expected to be an edge. He had 2 sacks this past year, but again, he was lining predominantly up as a defensive lineman. This is edge depth for 1 year. He's been durable. He's played in all 17 games for Green Bay every year since he's been drafted. So he's a solid player, I think, for the price point. I'm not going to go crazy over this one, nor should you. But the big signing clearly is Demario Davis. And I think if you're a Jet fan, you have every right to be excited about that move. Again, we understand his age. We understand he's 37, turning 38 by the end of the Jet season. But he's a good football player. And quite frankly, the New York Jets just don't have enough good football players. And they're trying to retool the defense in free agency. That is what the Mooj is looking to do. You got a proven veteran at safety now in Minka, leader of the secondary. You got a proven veteran in Demario Davis, the leader of the front seven. You're switching to a 3-4 front anyway. And one of the things I hope happens here is that I hope that if they don't trade Jamie and Sherwood, which who knows, maybe they could find a team that will want Sherwood. It's probably going to be tough with that contract. Demario Davis could help Jamie and Sherwood. If you're going to be stuck with Sherwood for another year, Demario Davis, I believe, could help Jamie and Sherwood. So I think ultimately the Jets made a smart signing here. Now, we got news breaking all throughout the league here, so stay with me as we get everyone caught up. I'll stay live for a while now. I was holding off on going live right at noon because I wanted some signings to come through the pipeline here. But we got moves. So I appreciate everyone who is tuned into the show. Reminder to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're live every day, 4 hours a day, talking Jets year-round. And if you ever missed the show, you could search Jake Asman Show on Apple or Spotify and get the full show you see on YouTube in audio form. We got major NFL free agent news that is just breaking. The Raiders are signing the top center and arguably the top offensive lineman on the market. Tyler Linderbaum is going to the Las Vegas Raiders, and it is a mega deal. Linderbaum, according to Adam Schefter, is signing a 3-year, $81 million deal That includes $60 million guaranteed and makes him the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. That is $27 million AAV. Unbelievable. And look, the Raiders had $125 million in salary cap space, more than any other team by $25 million. Why not overpay for Linderbaum? You're about to draft Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be on a rookie contract. You have the money. Build your offensive line. So it's a huge overpay, but you know what? The Raiders allowed 64 sacks last year, the most in the league. And now you have a real plan in place to try and protect Fernando Mendoza. They certainly need more, but that is a huge, huge get by the Raiders. Some other signings that just broke. The Cardinals are signing Falcons running back Tyler Algier to a 2-year, $12 million contract. So that happened. I mentioned the Nick Folk signing. I'm very disappointed with this. Folk was 28 of 29 in field goals and perfect on PATs last year for the Jets. He's signing with Atlanta. I want to know what the Jets' plan is at kicker. Are they going to draft someone now? They're probably going to bring in two and have a competition. But, man, Nick Folk is so good. And I know he's up there in age, but if we're bringing back Demario Davis and getting the band back together, you know, Frank Reich's a former Jet as well. He's now the OC. The head coach is a former Jet. Why not keep Nick Folk for another year? But I digress on that. John Simpson, I mentioned him. He is already signed with the Ravens, so he's going back there. And AVT, here's what I've learned about AVT. AVT doesn't want to be a Jet. I listened to Brian Costello on the New York Post NFL free agent live stream, and Costello said, word for word, AVT does not want to be with the Jets. He wants to sign elsewhere. It's as simple as he's had some bad luck with the injuries and he wants a fresh start. So AVT is not going to be back. I think the Jets wanted AVT. AVT does not want the Jets. So the Jets need a new guard, clearly. All right, you can't just go into the year now with, you know, Josh Myers as your center, Joe Tippmann as one of your guards, and then what? You're going to use the 16th pick and take a guard? While that could be an option ultimately, that can't be your plan. You got to be prepared to go and field a team before the draft. So you're not desperate and having to draft for reach, draft for need, rather than go best player available at important spots. You know, the Olivega Ione kid from Penn State is an awesome player. I don't know if I love the idea of the Jets having to use the 16th overall pick on a guard, let's say. You know, maybe they could draft Emmanuel Prenyon from Oregon in the second round with one of their twos. Or, you know, Caden Proctor, if they say, hey, you're going to be a guard in the second round. But that's in the second round. We're talking about pick 16. So the Jets need a guard. And there's some good guards that have hit the market in free agency, and I'd like to see the Jets address that position before the draft. And I think they will. It's just a matter of what does that exactly look like. But losing Nick Folk, disappointing. Losing John Simpson, not surprising. So I think we're kind of up to date on some of the signings that the Jets have made at this point. But I'm curious, right in the chat right now, if you're one of the 700 people watching live, your thoughts on what the Mooj has done so far in free agency. Again, the day started early from a Jet perspective. The Jets trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Jets signing Demario Davis, the Jets signing Joseph Ossai, and the Jets signing Kingsley Enagbare to a 1-year deal. Enagbare. I got to learn how to pronounce his name. Kingsley Enagbare is the name of the player that the Jets signed. He was a 5th-round pick of the Packers in the 2022 NFL draft. So that kind of gives you a little up to speed on where things stand in terms of the signings the Jets have made. Now, let's talk about the big quarterback signing that has already happened. Malik Willis going to the Dolphins. Couple things. One, where are the Dolphins fans saying, oh, the tank is on? No, teams don't deliberately try and tank this far out. Right? Miami is not going into the year just throwing away an entire season. Malik Willis always made sense for Miami. If they weren't in on him, I think it'd be a major red flag. Their GM was in Green Bay with Willis. Their head coach was in Green Bay with Willis. So it makes sense. Now, what this means, though, is that the Cardinals didn't sign Malik Willis. Are the Cardinals in play for Ty Simpson? I don't think they would take Ty Simpson at number 3. Could they trade back into round 1 if Ty starts the fall to get in front of the Jets who own pick 33, the first pick of round 2, to take Ty? Perhaps. Maybe they don't want him altogether. Maybe the Cardinals, they're a team that is in the mix for Geno Smith. They're a team that is in the mix for some of these other veterans that we've been discussing. But Miami is now no longer in the mix for a quarterback. And let's see how Willis looks, depending on the contract. Maybe that takes him out of the, the march for Arch and the other top QBs a year from now. Time will tell what happens with Malik Willis. But from a Jet standpoint, Geno Smith's preference was reportedly to go back home to Miami, where he's from. Well, now Miami's not going to sign Geno Smith, right? That presumably takes them out of the Geno Smith talks. So if that's the case, is Geno one of the veterans the Jets add? Is it Geno Smith and then, hey, flip one of our fourth-round picks, we have two of them, to the Cardinals to get Brissett? Is Arizona just going to keep Jacoby Brissett? If they keep Jacoby Brissett, then what's the plan for the Jets at quarterback? Is it Carson Wentz and, they're going to trade, for Derek Carr's rights from the Saints? I still think Carr is in play for the Jets. I just have a weird feeling about it. There's just too much going on there. Carr's connection with Bill Musgrave, Carr and Frank Reich's relationship when Carr took a visit to Carolina when Reich was the head coach, the cryptic stuff on their podcast. I just have a feeling, we haven't heard the last of Derek Carr and the Jets, but we know Wentz is an option. Geno's an option. I guess Tua's an option, or those signs early on here in free agency point to the Atlanta Falcons potentially signing Tua. I mean, bringing another injured quarterback to that room with Michael Penix. I guess they're both left-handed, so why not? And the other quarterback signing, as I see Dixon here wrote in a comment on it, Mitch Trubisky, he's officially off the board as well. Where did I see? Mitch Trubisky was going to the Panthers, I think. Is that what I saw? So Trubisky no longer in play for the New York Jets. Not that I thought he would have. Trubisky's actually not going to the Panthers, going to the Titans. So he's going to be Cam Ward's backup. So Dable obviously had Trubisky when he was the OC for Josh Allen and the Bills, and Trubisky was the backup there. So Trubisky off the board. Malik Willis, not that I ever thought the Jets were going to be in play for him. He's off the board. But Willis impacts the Jets more than anything because of what happens now with Geno Smith potentially, who, if you believe some of the reporting, he feels like one of the early favorites to be one of the quarterbacks the Jets were going to sign. But we will certainly find out. All right, I've spoken for 17 minutes. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in live right now. Click the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I want to remind people who are maybe checking into the show for the first time in a while, now that the offseason's here, come party with us in Pittsburgh. We're headed to Pittsburgh, an NFL draft party at McFadden's. It is going down. Let's go.
Draft Day 2026 live from Pittsburgh. Jets Nation on the clock. Gang Green take Fat McFadden's. Day and night draft party. Hosted by the Jay Gardner Show.
Thursday, April 23rd. Doors open at noon.
Let's go! Yeah!
Let's go, baby. Free event. It's free tickets to go to the NFL draft. Why not come party with us during the day? I'll be doing a live show during the day. I'll be doing a live show after the first round, reacting to whichever players the New York Jets draft at pick 2. And for now, pick 16. You never know what trades could be coming. Okay, Jet fans, Jets have been busy today. Asmaniacs, load up your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. We'll get to Asmaniac Madness as well, because we got quite the battle in the inside-outside region. It's Rob, the Jet fan, against Allen for a spot against the winner of our first battle in the round of 64. Kyle Clifton earlier today did defeat Cash Money Mike. So it is Kyle Clifton who is moving on in the next round. So keep that in mind when you vote today. Which Asmaniac would you rather see face Clifton, Rob or Allen? But let me get to some super chats here. King and Dreams in the house. He writes in, it's lit. Salute Jake in the chat. I have to go back to work. I was traveling all last month. So a brother's playing catch up. Well, you're back in at the best time, K&D. We're spending Woody Johnson's money. PBM writes in, why can't we find a kicker like we did with punter? I guess they could, but you already know what you have in Nick Folk. He was awesome last year. Do you want to now potentially move on from him? I mean, look, the answer is they're moving on from him. They got to find a replacement. Derek, the Jet fan, the first to gift a membership today. Thank you, Derek. Hit the Jet chant for him. Let's go. Vibes are high. Spencer Green says, get the damn Henny out. It's a party in New York. I can't go that far. We'll save the Henny for like the first big win that this team hopefully gets if Glenn can turn it around. But I like the optimism. K&D gifting a membership. Hell yeah, K&D. The Dominican Destroyer says Jake is the man, like the Dame stream. Thank you, Mr. Destroyer. And Rich McGowan in the house. He became a channel member. Bang! Bang! Thank you very much to Rich. All right, here we go. Henny with a super chat as well. Breece has more tweets than yards after contact. So let's get to the Breece tweet. I was saving this. I think Breece is joking here, but I understand that everything he says is going to be under the microscope. So Breece tweeted, damn, we sure got a lot of money in Florham Park. All these contracts, dude, signing. Here's what I would say to Breece if he's listening. And I know he liked one of our Jake Asman show tweets about should the Jets pursue JFM yesterday. So we know Breece is plugged into the social account for the show. You're going to get $14 million, man. You're getting paid. You're getting $14 million fully guaranteed. And reportedly the Jets are still trying to work out a longer term deal with Breece Hall. So I am not concerned in the slightest about what this tweet means. Ultimately, Breece Hall and the Jets, I think, will play nice, and Breece will either play on the tag or they'll get something done. But, you know, I understand people see these tweets and they're annoyed. Because it's just like, well, why say anything, right? Like, even if you're kidding around, people might interpret this differently. It's just a weird tweet. I just think it's unnecessary. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to, you know, cry about it. But I just think it would behoove Breece, even if he's kidding, which I think he is, just not say anything, right? I think that'd be smart, but am I going to lose sleep over this? No. It's March 9th. We got way more important things going on. Jimmy says, Jake, this is a Madden player. Sometimes want to leave, a.k.a. Falk. Well, we know AVT wanted to leave. I don't think Nick Falk wanted to leave, though. In fact, I heard from people that Nick Falk was more than open and receptive to staying with the Jets. His family loves it in the New York area. But he's going to Atlanta instead. I wonder what the money was, or if the Jets never made a serious offer. That I don't know. All right. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. I'm going to open up poll voting because we got a lot of people who want in on the conversation. But we want to make sure that people get a chance to vote. So as Maniac Madness is upon us, today is a battle between two people that despise each other. Rob the Jet fan and Alan. Before we open up voting, a message from Rob the Jet fan.
This is for Jake and the Asmaniacs. J.
E.
T.
T.
S.
S.
Jets, Jets, Jets.
Let.
Go Jets.
Go Jets.
And vote for Rob the Jet fan.
Go for Rob the Jets fan.
Yay!
As Maniac Madness is underway, vote, vote, vote.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? Yes, Maniac Madness. You get to pick the ones that make the show rock.
Vote, vote, vote. Your vote determines who advances to the round of 32 against Kyle Clifton. All right, Jet fans, how we feeling? Your thoughts on these signings? We're keeping everyone up to date on what is going on around the NFL. Kenneth Walker signing with the Seahawks, or excuse me, former Seahawk Kenneth Walker signing with the Chiefs. That takes them out of the equation. You would think for Jeremiah Love at pick 9, or they just don't think he's even going to make it to number 9. It could be one or the other. We mentioned Malik Willis. We mentioned Anzalone going to the Bucs. I think for the Jets, Anzalone or Demario Davis, they're both one of the same. Pittman being traded to Pittsburgh, that would have made some sense from a Jet standpoint. Alec Pierce back to the Colts. They signed him to a huge contract, $29 million a year type of contract. Jets were never going to swim in those waters. And again, Pierce, I think, is a good player. He's now being paid like a great player because the Colts were desperate to keep him, and they used the transition tag on Daniel Jones. I never thought he was truly in play for the Jets, but the Jets are in the market for a receiver, and we keep being told that the name to watch at wide receiver is reportedly Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So a lot of thoughts in my head are spinning. I'm keeping everything up to date here. I got 3 TVs on in front of me. Should their news be breaking, I got X up in front of me. Now I want to hear from you. But first, let's shout out Common Country, who gifted a membership. He is in our raffle for one. Now, people might be saying, Jake, what are the raffle prizes this week? I haven't even told you guys. Well, if you're new around here, every Friday we do a raffle on the show. And this week we have 3 signed items that we're going to be raffling away, including a Joe Namath signed helmet, a Joe Klecko signed helmet and a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. Those are the top prizes that we have up for grabs. So keep that all in mind. Appreciate everyone for their support. Now we want to hear from you. First up today is a man who's lying on his bed.
He's home, his bed is on the bed. That's what feels good. On the road, his belly is on the bed. In a dirty hotel room. He calls the show, his belly's on the bed. He's just more comfortable. He got a beard, loves the jets, super jets. He's a big fella, sleeps alone. There's no room on his bed. That's a big fella.
Hey, I'm in the hotel room, man. Just like Gator did in the video. So let's go.
Let's go.
I tried calling you earlier from Ohio State when we were on the tour, but Frankie wouldn't shut his freaking mouth. So I had to abort the mission. And over here, I've been doing some research. They think we should draft Reese around here instead of Styles at 2. So that's what's coming out of Columbus right now.
I love the in-depth research you're doing, talking with Buckeye fans about what the Jets should do at number 2.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. That's trying to get this research done, man. They say Reese is a beast, so I'll stick with that. Now, free agency, man. I love having Demario Davis back. I love it. He's going to get everybody in place. Unlike last year, hopefully we can stop some tight ends going over the middle, which would be great. The Ossai signing, that's great too. Muji's cooking, man. Muji's cooking. What do you see coming up?
Well, I think they're going to still add a receiver at some point. I don't know if it's going to be like a huge name, Romeo Dobbs, or it's going to be someone of that ilk. It could be a trade. I think the trades market is something to look at. We already see them swing a trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. Speaking of receivers, breaking news. This one shouldn't be surprising to anyone who's been following it. Wan'Dale Robinson to the Titans, so he gets reunited with Brian Dable, who's calling plays for Cam Ward. So he's off the board. I thought he could have made some sense for the Jets. I think receiver is what we're looking at, and then just more players on defense. I think they could add another edge. I think they could add a nose tackle. I think they could add another linebacker. I don't think signing Demario Davis means they should be done at linebacker by any means.
Right, I agree 100%. And I would throw a 4th rounder for BTJ. I know they turned down a 5th. I'd throw a 4th out there for him for sure. You know, I mean, that's like a no-brainer to me. But that and Linderbaum, he reset the market, man, for centers for sure. I mean, he got signed to a huge deal. I would actually draft a center. This guy Coogan out of Indiana, he's excellent and he's smart and he's big, and I would take him, and he'll probably go maybe 3rd, 4th round. So if we could get him in the 4th round, if we don't go throw it at Brian Thomas Jr., I'd take that in the 2nd.
100%. I'd be willing to package everything 44 and then like getting something back from them to kind of balance it a little bit. I think would be fair. I'm in on Brian Thomas Jr. though. I'm a little worried why his production fell the way it did, but I'm interested in him for sure.
Well, Breece could have somebody to mope around with, you know what I mean? Because he's a little mopey. So
that's fair, right?
So we'll see. Yeah, but anyway, just want to say, I wanted to give my report on Ohio and tell everybody Reese is more. Everybody's saying Reese out here, so it's overwhelmingly Reese over Style. So let's go, and great show, my man.
Position value, man. Big fella, you got it. Keep us updated from Columbus. I love it. Big fella touring Columbus with his daughter and is asking the people all about Reese, all about Styles, maybe Downs. I know there was a lot of Downs love. I don't think that will happen at 2 now, especially after they make a trade. But they should sign another safety. That's another position I would mention to Big fella when he asked about what could be next. Linebacker, safety. They could now sign another one. Just because they signed and traded for one so far, they got to rebuild the entire defense. I mean, the defense is in shambles. I'm fascinated to see if they could unload Sherwood or Sherwood could be sticking around. And if Sherwood's sticking around, that's where I think a guy like Demario Davis could help him. Curly Norman is in our raffle for 2. Who do you think Jet fans had higher hopes for when we signed him? The corpse of Dwayne Brown, the corpse of Tyron Smith, or the corpse of Demario Davis? Dwayne Brown was a second-team All-Pro the year before the Jets, or Tyron Smith was a second-team All-Pro the year before the Jets signed him. him falling off a cliff was shocking. I guess the same can happen with Davis, but he was really good last year, man. I mean, again, Demario Davis was 6th out of 88 in linebackers in overall grade on PFF, and PFF isn't everything, but this guy played over 1,000, almost 1,100 snaps at linebacker last year. Like he is a real outlier, man. He really is. All right, I got open phone lines here. Right now, there's nobody currently on the line. So if you want in, there's never been a better opportunity. If you're one of the 700 people watching the show live, appreciate all of you who are supporting our shows. Appreciate all of you who are locked in as we wait to see what moves are coming throughout the NFL, what moves the Jets could be coming. 4 years, $52 million for Travis Etienne to go to the Saints. So Etienne, another running back that we discussed. Let's do some math on Etienne because I'm bad at numbers. I'm bad at math. What's that divided by 4? Right? That'd be 52 divided by 4. That's 13 million. And I bring that up because Breece is making 14 million. And Breece, I think, is a little better than Etienne. So I think a Jet deal with Breece, like 3 years. Let's see. Let's do 14 times 3. It'd be 42. What did they do 4 times? Could they offer Breece, 4 years, 52 million, really 2 of it guaranteed, something like that for Breece? Could that be the contract that gets it done ultimately? I could see something along those lines. We'll see. So far, so good, I think, for the Jets. I am bummed about Nick Folk, though, because, again, you had a good kicker. Why mess with that? And AVT is a goner. Again, Brian Costello saying on the New York Post live stream, AVT does not want to be a Jet. He wants a fresh start. He wants to go somewhere else. So the Jets need to sign a guard. And then, obviously, the other needs I was just talking about with big fella on defense, they got to fill those. Jets Jesus is called. We could use Jesus as Jet fans. Hello, Mr. Jesus.
Hey, Jake. How's it going, man? I'm pretty excited about this morning.
What's going on, man? Do you feel good about the moves?
I do. I'm liking the moves. I think again, like you were saying on the first show, like I think we got a GM. Like I like what Muji's doing. I'm bummed. I'm also bummed about Nick Folk, but I understand, go if they're going to go young, whether they draft. I know there's a kid to potentially draft late that's a kicker. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe now we could finally bring in a kicker that's good and keep him, since it seems like the kickers that we bring in and cut loose end up doing pretty solid. Our thicker kicker dude that ended up going to the Rams had a really good season. Was it Mevis? Something like that?
Yeah, the thicker kicker was the nickname for Harrison Mevis.
So yeah, no, it was interesting to see him end up with the Rams and kicking well, and now he's their kicker. But I like the D-line guys. I looked up quickly; they look promising. I just like that he's active and making moves. We're not sitting back and being reactionary. It'll be with AVT gone and Simpson gone. It's going to be really interesting to see what gets done at guard. I know a lot of the guys that are doing mock drafts are that in the scenarios that we didn't keep Simpson and we didn't keep AVT, that are either the pick at 16 ended up going to a guard then, or one of the ones in the second. So I'll be very curious to see what happens there. I like the Minka signing, and in general, I'm just it's free agency. We're finally getting some moves going. I'm excited. We can now kind of lock some draft ideas into place in the next week. And see what things are looking like with as these teams come together and stuff like that. I think that's fun stuff, and hopefully we stay away from Tua.
I could not agree with that more. I mean, Tua needs to see Jets Jesus if the Jets end up signing him. Good Lord! All right, final question for you: who'd you vote for? Because this battle right now, I'm checking my first look at the poll right now. Rob the Jet fan leads Allen 56-44.
Oh, dude, I already voted. There is no way I could bring myself to vote for Allen. I don't understand anybody voting for Allen unless it's just they like seeing troll calls and his I try to be positive, but all the time, but his obnoxious self. He is a rough caller. So easy. I had an anti-Allen vote. Rob's all right. No, I'm not going to knock Rob for sure. But no matter who Allen was voted against, I was going the other way.
Love it. Jets Jesus, excellent call. Hair looks tremendous today. Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Spencer Green. Hot take: Sherwood was great with CJ. Why not see if Davis can get Sherwood back to old form? Well, it's a different defense altogether than the one they played with Salah. You know, Salah ran the wide 9. They're going to a 3-4. Sherwood's not a middle linebacker. Could they find a role for him? I mean, he's under contract for like $15 million. So chances are he's a Jet. And I do agree. Let's see if Demario Davis mentoring Jamie and Sherwood could help him. Certainly can't hurt. And again, what's good about Davis is he's played for Glenn. He knows exactly what Glenn wants. He will wear the green dot. He'll help with some of the communication issues. I'm just seeing the details, by the way, on Malik Willis's contract. 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed. Remember, Fields got 2 for $40, and 30 of it was guaranteed. So Malik Willis got the bag, as the kids say. He got paid. AAV of 22.5, but really it's the $45 million guarantee that's the big number there, right? Fields got $30 million guaranteed. Malik Willis got $45 million guaranteed. The last year doesn't mean anything of the 3 years, 60. It's just all about the guaranteed number. That's why when you hear these deals first reported, always wait and see what the guaranteed number is. So Anzalone getting 2 for 17 from Tampa. I bet you the guaranteed number in Demario Davis, I'd imagine it's probably lower because Davis signed, 2 years, $22 million? How much of that was guaranteed? It wouldn't shock me if it was just probably like a 1-year deal. 1-year deal, front-loaded. You get out of it after a year. I mean, the guy's 37 years old. He's going to turn 38 in January. Hennessy says, guys, Allen rooted for the Bills and the Pats in the playoffs, 2 of our rivals. I can never vote for him. Also, what are we doing at guard? Pick 16 now. If the Jets' plan is just to take a guard at 16, that wouldn't be a sound strategy. Sign a guard. Now, David Edwards was one of the top guards. He's off the board. I just saw he signed with the Saints, 4 years, $61 million. That is a big move by New Orleans. There's other guards out there, though. I would expect the Jets to sign one of them. Sean Bennett, he became a channel member. He hit the join button and put himself on our weekly raffle.
Yeah.
Joe Namath signed helmet is our top prize. Prize 2 is a signed Joe Klecko helmet. Prize 3 is a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. Let's go. Enter the raffle by gifting your fellow channel or your fellow Asmaniac a membership. More of your calls right now. Appreciate everyone who has tuned in. We're going live reacting to all the signings the Jets have made. They've made a trade. They've made 3 signings, including the return of Demario Davis. Derek, the Kansas Jet fans next. Hello, Derek.
Hey, Jake. How we doing, brother, man?
What's up, Derek?
Not much. It's a pretty exciting day. I am kind of saddened about Folk not coming back, a guy that made 28 out of 29 field goals. I'm kind of bummed. You couldn't at least maybe got him on a 1-year deal. I overheard Peter Schrager talking on the Pat McAfee show that Anzalone has a house that he lives in Tampa, and that was a large reason to him wanting to stay in Tampa, is because he didn't really want to move. So unless Schrager got his news mixed up there, that was a pretty good reason for because I'm assuming we really wanted Anzalone. We got a 3-4 defense. We're still going to need a couple more linebackers.
Well, think about it. He played college football at Florida, and Tampa's not that far from Gainesville. I mean, it's not close, but it's drivable. So maybe that was part of the thought process. So that makes some sense. Again, we've spent so much time talking about Anzalone, and I've been saying, well, if we're going to talk about Anzalone, why wouldn't we talk about Demario Davis, who's still really good as well?
Yeah. I'm not sure where Demario finished in terms of ranks last year, but former Jet, he was on the Saints, so, he's used to losing. He's going to be a great locker room guy. And he's going to remind me a lot of CJ Mosley. A lot of communication on defense. He's seen a lot of football. I think that's a plug and play starter. Definitely, that is instantly going to help this defense that is historically bad. If you had to pick a favorite free agent that we've taken so far, brother, who would your pick be?
My favorite free agent that they've picked?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Davis. If we're not counting the Mika trade, which I think was brilliant because you got a really good safety for a 7th round pick.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. In terms of the bridge, I know we're being linked to Gino and Jacoby. I know you're out on Gino and Derek. Do you think Jacoby is our best bridge option right now? And do you think he'd be that interested in joining us? Yeah,
I think Jacoby, if you could get him for like a day 3 pick, makes a lot of sense. And then I would still sign another veteran quarterback. So we have 2 veterans and then draft a rookie in that room. So you're not in the spot where you're playing Brady Cook at the end of the year,
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think you need 2 vets to compete for a job because you're going to be drafting a rookie more than likely. AG knows he's coaching for his job. I hope he wins because I'm kind of sick of losing as a Jets fan. I was looking at a lot of these deals. I'm loving what Muji's doing, like 1 to 2. I think there's only a 1 3-year deal. Ossai is on a 3-year deal, and then 2-year for Davis, 1 year for Enagbare. I think that's pretty solid. And then Minka, we got for 3 years on a 13.3 average, I think it says.
It's all about the guaranteed, though, Derek. That's the key. I got more breaking Jets news here. The Jets have made another signing. This time, it's a defensive tackle that they have signed. Where's my breaking news sounder? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be hitting this a lot, seemingly, over the next week.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
According to Mike Garafolo, the Jets have agreed the terms with veteran defensive tackle David Onyemata on a 1-year, $10.5 million deal with $9.65 million guaranteed. Native of Nigeria, who was introduced to football in college in Canada, signs a deal done by, who cares, agent's name, giving Garafolo the scoop. So a defensive tackle signing now by the Jets. Again, we've talked about this. Spend in free agency to overhaul and fix the defense. And that's what the Jets have done. They have yet to sign an offensive player. They traded for Minka and gave him a new deal. They've signed Demario Davis, and they now have signed 3 different defensive linemen. This is a 1-year deal. I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton about David Onyemata, but I do know this. It can't be worse than what we watched up front this past year. Here's the background on this player that the Jets have just added. He was a 4th-round pick by the Saints in 2016. Glenn knows him from New Orleans. And I'm pretty sure there was a video of Onyemata going up to Glenn either before or after the game when the Jets played Atlanta this year in the rain, and the 2 of them catching up and Onyemata thanking Glenn, for being one of the best coaches he had in his career. I'm pretty sure that was the player that we're talking about. So, this is a guy that Glenn knows. So some familiarity there. Glenn can't use the excuse he doesn't have his guys, right? Well, now you do. You got Demario Davis. You got Onyemata. You got guys who know exactly what you want. So David Onyemata is the latest free agent signing by the Jets here. So Darren Muji spending money to fix the defense. That much remains obvious. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Let me give some love to Sean Bennett in the house. He is in the raffle with this for
Good
2.
job.
Glad to know Demario Davis, who will close out his career with the team that drafted him. Plus, if we draft Arvell Reese at 2, he'll be a good mentor for him. Demario Davis would be a good mentor for any player the Jets have. They're one of the youngest rosters in the league. I heard Muji talk about this. So a goal for them was to add some veteran leadership. Well, Minka, veteran, check. Onyemata, veteran, check. Demario Davis, veteran, check. This guy, Onyemata has been in the league for 10 years. This will be his 11th season. He's going to be 34 years old. So, this is a depth veteran leadership type of signing that the Jets most recently just made here. 1 year, $10.5 million. And by the way, Demario Davis's contract, I looked up some numbers on it. Demario Davis is getting $15 million guaranteed on a 2-year deal. It's essentially a 1-year deal then. Like, applying common sense, if Demario Davis' contract is 2 years, $22 million, and 15 of it is guaranteed, I'd imagine it'd be minimum dead cap for the Jets to move off of it after a year. So they probably front-loaded it to get a guy that Glenn desperately needs, that knows his defense and can be a leader. Brandon Batts, I see your super chat now. $15 million guaranteed for Davis. Omari says Breece has got to chill. Again, I don't like Breece tweeting anything. Just say nothing. Tweet about movies. But I also don't want to panic and be like, this means Breece is going to hold out. Like, 1, try and hold out as a running back. You saw what that did for Le'Veon Bell. And 2, he's making $14 million this year. Like, Breece is a top 5 paid running back right now if he plays a year on the tech. Ralphie Rocks checks in with a super chat. Thank you, Ralphie. Jets signing these guys to 1 to 2 year deals. So if we blow chunks in 2026, we'll have a new head coach, cap space, and draft capital. Hello, Tomlin. Look, the bottom line is I would not expect the Jets to shop in the Alec Pierce, Linderbaum waters anyway. So I think what they have done so far has been smart. And I'm not I'm not convinced that they wouldn't add a receiver that's a big name in a trade. We talked about Brian Thomas Jr. before. Big fella, giving credit where credit's due. Nick Shine was all over the Jets getting Minkah weeks ago with these moves. It's put up or shut up for AJ. And now Rich Samini in his notes column a couple weeks ago mentioned Minkah as a possibility as well. So did Dom C. Dom C had a great tweet about Minkah as well. So some Jet fans in this fan base, very smart. Derek the Jet fan, Jake in chat, what position should we take next? Linebacker, guard, potentially receiver. The Jets could add a couple receivers. Romeo Dobbs is still available, is he not? He's someone I've talked a lot about that I'd love to see the Jets add. I think that would make some sense. Some info about Onyemata. 6'4", 310 pounds. And he graded out as one of the better interior defenders in the league, according to Nick Faria. So, again, we're making moves here. Jets spending big on defense on day one of free agency, which makes sense. All right, now we're caught up on some transactions here. Let's say hello to a good friend of the show. Our first guest, Tanky V, stops by for some quick thoughts on the Jets' moves so far. Hello, Mr. Frank. Or should I say Vinny, for those of you who caught the first show.
Yeah, Vinny V. I'm going to go by now. Yeah, Jake, thanks for having me on again today. I appreciate it. Listen, I like what's going on. I do. I think it's smart to spend a little bit of money on defense and then worry about plugging some holes on the offensive side via the draft. I did not want them to come in here and start spending like drunken sailors on wide receivers and tight ends and an offensive lineman necessarily. This draft has a plethora of those things. Maybe not tight end, but it's not necessarily something we necessarily need. I like plugging the right holes that you need. And I think, yeah, Ossai got a little bit of money, maybe more than some people are comfortable with, but he is a 3-4 outside linebacker who could play some 5 technique. So that's exactly who he was out of Texas, supposed to be a second rounder. So he makes sense. Kingsley makes sense as a run stuffer. I love the Demario Davis signing. He's just going to be someone that can mentor Jamie and Sherwood, who's going to need it. I mean,
unless they trade Sherwood, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. You give him some insights as to how to really play that sort of will linebacker position. And Demario Davis had the most tackles of his career last year. He's one of those almost like Bobby Wagner types. They kind of age like fine wine, Jake. So, listen, nothing that's gonna transcend this team if the coaching isn't right, though. Like, there's no player here that you could point to that is gonna, equate to an extra couple wins because of that guy. But if you start getting the right coaches in here, or these guys figure out what the hell is going on, you have the vets. We spoke about Minkah this morning. You start teaching up some of these young guys. You start building an actual base. You start building an actual culture, which I think's the right move. They have money to spend anyway, so I'd rather spend money like they're sprinkling around more than I do if they're going with splash guys, which would then potentially shy them away from taking a prospect on draft day that we might all like. So yeah, let's kind of see what happens for the rest of the day. I mean, I can't believe how fiery this is. I thought it was going to be hot on Wednesday when the new league year opens, but once this tampering period opened, things are just released. So
all these deals magically getting negotiated within 2.5 hours. So free agency officially started.
They didn't speak before that, Jake. No.
Never happened. Clemens is a free agent, by the way, so he's gone. You don't have to worry about Michael Clemens.
I'll say this.
In the chat talking about him. He will not be back. I think they've already signed a couple of his replacements and Jermaine Johnson's replacements along the D-line with, in all likelihood, either Arvell Reese, who Frankie loves, or David Bailey going number 2 to the Jets.
Somebody asked me, does this mean Reese or Bailey's more likely? I don't think it's determined yet. I think Ossai does play an outside linebacker in a 3-4 role. See, the thing that's going to be interesting with Reese or Bailey for the Jets in a 3-4, are they going to be 5 techniques? No, they're not. They're going to be outside linebackers. I think Bailey might comp out better as just an outside linebacker in a 3-4. He doesn't have to worry about the tackles getting their hands on him. He could just fly. He could just come screaming off the edge, which Reese can do also. So it's kind of similar. But I like Reese, I think, more. With Reese, I'd like to play him on the inside a little bit more. And I think he'd learn a ton from Demario Davis, because Demario Davis is a menace getting pressures up the middle. So give or take, there's no advantage with these moves. I don't think we could really tell. And I don't think the Jets know who the pick is either yet at this point.
Your thoughts on this tweet from Breece? Damn, we sure got a lot of money in Florham Park. All these contracts, dude signing.
I'll say this. I think when he saw that Minkah Fitzpatrick deal just off the bat, I think he was like, damn, they didn't offer me that. They didn't offer me 3 years, $40 million, but they gave it to Minkah. Listen, man, Breece is going to Breece. That's just, I'm not a, I'm a little bit more of an old schooler, a little bit more of a boomer when it comes to these tweets and stuff. You know how much Sauce annoyed me with that stuff. I'll say this though, I could be wrong. Been wrong a lot before, but I don't know if I see the writing on the wall with a deal with Breece being done by that July 15th deadline. I'm starting to feel like with you look at the numbers with Kenneth Walker, you look at what even ETN just got. Breece is priced right at $15 million a year, 14 and change. Are the Jets willing to do that? You're going to have to give him that 3-year, $45 million deal. Are they? I mean, we spoke about 3 years, 33 mil. Would he even meet in the middle? Would he do a 340, 3 at 40? I don't know.
I still think he's going to play on the tag if I had to guess. But
Same.
People that have been reporting on this, including Will, who we had on earlier, Will Parkinson, that they're not that far away. And Will said the Jets offered more than most people thought they would. So I don't know. I don't love Breece tweeting. I'm with you. I think it's counterproductive for what the Jets are trying to do, that this becomes like a storyline that people will discuss. And then the head coach will be asked about it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he could be joking there. I don't want to overreact.
Yeah,
it's like an unnecessary thing,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know what I do know is Glenn and Muji are not a fan of players taking stuff to Twitter. I know that. They didn't like the Quinnen comments about the rebuild, and they obviously Sauce was the king at doing that stuff. So I don't know. I'm just connecting dots there, but these guys don't do themselves any favors. I mean, we love Breece. We have no reason not to, but when he tweets stuff that, is just, I don't know. It makes you not like the guy as much for no reason. It's just Twitter at the end of the day, but I feel like Breece wants his value and he probably deserves it. So we'll see.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Breaking news, Frankie. Mike Evans to the San Francisco 49ers. Wow, the Niners signing future Hall of Fame wide receiver Mike Evans, 3-year deal. Money has not yet been announced, but this surprises me. I thought for sure Tampa and Mike Evans would find a way to get a deal done and he'd play his whole career there. But Mike Evans will not finish his career as a Buck. He is leaving and he is signing a deal with the San Francisco 49ers.
That's a big move for him, man. And I like that move a ton. They need a wide receiver. I mean, they need an X guy that's just going to go up and get it and make plays. They haven't had that. They thought Brandon Ayuk was the answer there, and that blew up in their face. Debo's been gone there now for a bit. This move makes sense, I think. I think San Francisco's putting themselves in a position to really compete in the NFC, assuming they can stay healthy. Mike Evans, like you said, Hall of Fame wide receiver, and you're damn right he is. Damn right he is.
The pride of Galveston, Texas, which I know very well from my days down in Houston doing afternoon radio. So Mike Evans will not finish his career as a Buck. Some other signings, Frankie. I know you were big on this player, I'm pretty sure. The Steelers have agreed to a deal with cornerback Jamel Dean. He gets a 3-year deal.
I didn't even see that.
$36.75 million 1 minute ago. So your guy that you wanted the Jets to pursue, he's off the board.
Man, yeah. I mean, listen, there's a plethora of corners, so there's other opportunities there, and there's a bunch of corners in this draft too, actually, too. I just think Jamel Dean, value wise, is just so undervalued. So undervalued. Even that deal, I think, is a little bit undervalued for him. I would have no problem giving him 40, 42 on the same kind of yearly structure there. Hey, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? Pittsburgh seems to always get guys that I kind of like, whether out of the draft or free agency when it comes to defensive guys. So we'll see. I was a big fan of Alex Highsmith. They ended up taking him. He's making a ton of money. Had a little bit of a down year, but they always end up getting guys that I'm like, But hey, what are you going to do? Jamel Dean, man, I was talking about it before, Jake. I mean, he had the lowest passer rating allowed in football last year, second lowest since the next gen era in completion percentage allowed since they started recording. So just a quality player, man.
So I mentioned this earlier, I think before you joined, Frankie, that the player the Jets signed to be on their defensive line, the latest guy from the Falcons, David Onyemata, he knows Aaron Glenn from their days with the Saints. I remember seeing this clip when NFL Films had Glenn mic'd up for the Falcon Jet game this year. It's going viral again on X, so I'll put it up on the screen so people could see it. This was the interaction after the game between Glenn and Onyemata, and this, I'm sure, is a big reason why Onyemata wanted to sign with the Jets.
I'm going to tell you.
Hold on. Let me get the volume on. Can you guys hear this? Let's see. And
10 years ago, when I used to be in that meeting, they used to talk to me, man. That's changed my life, bro.
I appreciate it, brother.
Changed my life, and I appreciate you for that.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, brother. My man.
I'm going to tell you.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was playing or not. So there you go. A little interaction there between Glenn and Onyemata from this year. So look, they're spending money to fix the defense. And that, to me, is the biggest thing they should be doing, because prioritize offense in the draft outside of, obviously, pick number 2 is likely going to be a defensive player. But, this to me is some smart roster management, roster construction thus far by Glenn and Muji. I like the approach to this point.
Yeah, I like, too, that something Onyemata, who's been in the league now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 12 years, year 13. Last year, Jake had the most tackles he's ever had in his career, which, he had 62 tackles I saw online, which is the most he's had. And we just had that same conversation with Demario Davis. He's coming off his best year tackles-wise. You're getting guys off really good years, and that's how you change things. You got to get guys off good years. You might want to take a guy off a bad year, but if you're getting guys on budget deals, like I think Demario Davis's deal was a budget deal. I mean, yeah, it's a lot per for a linebacker, but it's only 2 years, 22 mil.
And it's front loaded because 15 of it's guaranteed in year 1, so it's probably a 1-year deal.
Exactly. So I just like that for the room. You look at how that guy's sounding with Glenn. He sounds like somebody that just has passion and love, and is going to be somebody that you're just going to want on your team. I think the locker room, to what Harrison Phillips had mentioned, he came into a place that's just nobody believed. Everyone was kind of down. You start bringing in some new voices, some new blood in there. Things start looking up. Now, with that said, there's still a lot of more important things to do, which is obviously quarterback, getting a guard if AVT's gone. But I like the approach so far. Yeah, I do.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. What else has stood out to you, Frankie, before I let you run here? Appreciate you popping in. What moves around the league beyond just the Jets have intrigued you?
I just think the way that the market's being set on a lot of these spots, man, like
Linderbaum breaking the bank, man.
Linderbaum was a ton of money, bro. That is that's crazy.
He reset the center market by 50%. 81 million is the base value of his deal, 27 million AAV. So Creed Humphrey was the previous benchmark at 18 million per year.
Yeah. Can I be honest about Linderbaum? I don't think he's that good. Let me just be clear. No, I swear I really don't.
What don't you think is good about him?
Listen, you know what he's good at? He's a very cerebral center. He knows how to call protections out. They're going to need somebody, because if Mendoza's going to be playing early, the last thing you want is that kid with that offensive line in Vegas just having defensive players unload on Mendoza, that'll really ruin that kid's career. So I understand the thought there. But I mean, like in terms of like a mover at center and that amount of allocation when you're talking about the positional value, I don't know. That's a little bit wild to me. But
it's an overpay. But if you're the Raiders and you have to pay a Raider tax, you're the worst team in the league. You know, you're going to overpay. I'd rather overpay on a guy who I think is the best center in football, him or Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of the guys I used to like aren't even in the league. I used to like Frank Ragnow a lot. I used to like the kid Rodney Houston from Vegas, ironically. I used to like those guys. I used to watch their film and the way they move and pull in traffic. But he's very good, Linderbaum. Don't get that twisted at all. But even the way Jake, these wide receivers, you see the amount of money being spent there. Wide receiver is slowly becoming one of the premier positions in football.
I think it is. I think right now, if you look at salaries, quarterback is 1, edge is 2, receiver based on top 5 or top 10 highest paid players, AAV, receivers number 3 now.
Yeah, it is.
Corner's 4 now. I mean, look what the
Corner's
contract
4.
that what's his name got with the Rams, breaking Sauce's record.
Yeah, which for the record was an overpay also, but it is what it is. Listen, things aren't overpay, but when the cap's going up and you get guys that fill holes on your team, I always think there's always a mix between how good the player is and how big the need is also, right? It's like supply and demand economics. If you need a position and you get someone who's, 85% of your ideal player at that position, he may not be, in the 90s, but you'll pay him like one, but I do think Jets come draft day, the Jets, if at 16, the receivers are gone, Lemon, Tate, Tyson, which I don't think they will be necessarily. I think it's like a 50-50 right there. But if they are, I think guard, I was saying this before, it may not be the cute pick. It may not be the pick everyone likes, but look at what this David Edwards guy just got, $60 million, and he's not some premier guard. Guard.
I don't want a guard at 16.
Let me explain why.
Take a guard in the second round. You got 2 second-round picks. Be like a normal team and find a guard on day 2 that could start for you. Let
me just say this. Yes, except if it's Vega Ioane or if you project Spencer Fano. Let me explain this. Let me just explain this one thing, Jake. I think the Jets, how they'll be successful is if when you come into MetLife, we have a better offensive line than you, or when we come into your house, we have a better offensive line than you. I am not yet convinced on that being a reality. I want the best offensive line in the conference. I think that'll help quarterbacks out. It's like what Dallas did early in the 90s. It's like what the Eagles did when they went to Super Bowls with Nick Foles and then Hurts. Like, you can have a little bit of instability or not premier play at quarterback, but if the offensive line is something that's a differentiator that puts you in that top 2 or 3% of the league category, we're almost there. Like, I understand we've been spending a lot of draft capital on offensive linemen. We're almost there. You're going to take a swing. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd rather take one in the second round. You never know, though. Like, there's been second round guards that's work out and don't. The hit rate with guards in the first round is pretty high. I know 16's a little high, but those 2 guys, Ioane and Fano, to me, are very special kind of offensive line prospects. If they're not there and you got the receiver, or they are there and you got the receivers, take the receiver. But there's something to be said about those guys, Jake. You know what an advantage it is if you have Olu Fashanu on the left side with Vega Ioane, you have Tittman, you have Membu, and then whoever's playing right guard, or you have Myers and Tittman. That's a good damn line, bro. That's something that, it doesn't really grow on trees. You don't get that, you don't see that normally, but I also hear the other side also.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. I'm looking at some Breece Hall tweets here. He retweeted our guy Paul Fiore saying, "Everyone relax. Breece is Breece." LOL. So there you go.
The Paul Fiore. Yo, Paul Fiore's doing big things, man. Mr. Paul Fiore.
Paul's awesome, man. I saw you jumped on with Paul.
Yeah, that was a good show, man. Yeah, Paul was one of your guests first. Oh, not guests, but he was on your show first, wasn't he?
Well, he was a caller of mine. He started making his own content on his YouTube channel. He's doing a great job.
You're just growing people left and right, man.
The ASMANIAC podcasting tree. It's unbelievable.
Yes, podcasting.
I'll get you out of here with this, unless there's another signing. Then feel free to call back in. ASMANIAC Madness is going on. Rob, the Jet Van, Allen, These two guys hate each other. Rob was unavailable to call in. He sent in a video earlier. Right now, Rob is leading Allen, but it's close. It's 58-42. 447 votes have been cast at this point. Who would you vote for?
I didn't. Rob used to call me out a little bit. I think Allen's been a staunch Tanky V supporter. I'm gonna be a little biased here, but if you support me, I support you, kind of thing. So I'm voting for Allen, man. Didn't Rob ask for his own intro or something? Isn't that like the Rob thing? You can't ask for your own intro. It's up to Gator.
Did. But Allen rooted for the Bills and the Patriots in the playoffs.
That's very weird. That's weird. Who would vote for the Patriots in the Super Bowl? Wink, wink.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder why you're voting for Allen. You're like, oh, I'd rather New England win than Sam Darnold.
I was kind of being a little facetious there. I can't even say that word.
I can't say it either.
Facetious.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Frankie, thanks for coming on. The Jets signed any other big defensive tackle from Nigeria. We'll bring you on.
I'm around, brother. Later.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
So I just shot my shot with Breece, who's responding to fans on Twitter. I sent him a tweet and I go, hey, Breece, we'd love to have you on. I sent to Breece the call-in link. Call in. We'd love to have you on to speak directly to Jet fans. Danny B, shout out to him, says, do it, Breece. Do it. So Breece, open invite if you want to talk to the fan base here. Let's go through some Breece tweets. He tweeted, damn, we sure got a lot of money in Florham Park. All these contract dudes signing. And then a fan said, what a shame, used to love them. Might make this. So Breece is having some fun with some of these responses I see. What would a Breece burner look like? Not a burner guy. I just respond on here. Let's see. What other Breece tweets do we have? He responded to this fan here saying, I'm happy we spending shit we need to. He says, I'd definitely be pocket watching in free agency. Again, Breece is getting $14 million, so he's getting that either way. Fried Rice says, Breece, I know you effing with these signings, big dog. I am, not going to lie, filling a lot of big holes right now. And then he retweeted, the gap between social media and reality is bigger than people want to admit. So there's your Breece Hall Twitter update. If Breece calls in, we'll move him to the front of the line and then, of course, ask him who he's voting for in ASMANIAC Madness. All right, let's get to your calls. I appreciate everyone who is locked into our show. We're going to be live for the next however long we got to be live. We'll see how the news unfolds. My plan was to go live once we got some signings, and we had 4 signings and a trade, and the trade happened before free agency even began. So this is our second live show of the day. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. A couple super chats here. Derek, the Jet fan, writes in, Jake in the chat, any wide receivers you like outside of Dobbs? Yeah, there's a couple. 100%. There's a couple of guys that I think make some sense. Christian Kirk, I like. Tyquan Thornton from the Chiefs, that they just want a speed guy. You guys hear about this guy named Josh Reynolds? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just looking at my list of guys on the free agent list. It's not great. I think at this point, if they don't get Dobbs, Jawan Jennings is another name. And I think they should either trade for Brian Thomas Jr. or they should draft a receiver. Either at pick 16 if Mekhi Lemon's there, or Cornell Tate, or Jordan Tyson. One of them, I would take them. And I think a receiver's in play at 33. Take Omar Cooper from Indiana, for example. It's a good receiver class. Bino says, Frankie, I'd put Bisantis right there at guard too. Is he going to go that high, though, Bino? Cuddy in the house. What up, Cuddy? Where would Minka have ranked in free agent safeties? Would really like to see AVT brought back. Favorite signing / trade so far. My favorite move they made is Minka because I just think it shows that the Mooj knows what he's doing. I think Moojie's competent. I think it's great value. 7th round pick. To me, that's what I love about it. I'm all about the Mooj. Good job. Minka would probably rank in the top 3 of safeties available if he was a free agent. Again, Cam Curl, Kevin Byard. I mean, everyone's got different opinions on these safeties. Kobe Bryant, Brian Cook from the Chiefs, I know people are high on. Minkah graded out, though, last year as a top 10 safety. And one thing to note with Minkah, people are saying, oh, his interception numbers are down. I saw a stat from Next Gen that the way the Dolphins deployed Minkah Fitzpatrick, they used him at the line of scrimmage a lot more than he had played in the past. So he's playing more in the box as opposed to being in the secondary where he could come down and make more plays. So I think that has something to do with it as well. But I think this is a good move. I think that's a good move. And I think ultimately some of the other moves they have made to kind of rebuild the defense have been good as well. As far as AVT, I'll repeat what Brian Costello said earlier. AVT does not want to be a Jet. He wants a fresh start somewhere else. So the Jets are going to need to sign a guard. Guard should be the next big thing that the Jets do. They should sign a guard. I think that needs to happen. Big fella, Breece, get your mopey ass in here. Breece, if you're out there, call in. We'd love to have you. In the meantime, speaking of people that have called in, let's get to your calls. Now, appreciate everyone out there who wants to be a part of the show. We got this guy to bat lead off this segment. What up, Pork?
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I really like all the moves that we're making. Demario Davis, the pride of Brandon, Mississippi. I was just down there the other day. So, and he's also an Arizona State, graduate. Both my stepchildren went there. So, I'm a big fan of his, always have been. I was really bummed when we got rid of him. So, I'm really hyped to have him back. I really like Muji. He's a magic maker to me, the things that he's doing. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I can't say enough about the guy. He's a big hitter. He's a great player. We need that difference maker on defense. We haven't had a safety since Jamal Adams, right? Marcus May. We've had guys, but they were here and there. And then before that was Jim Leonard, So I'm really happy about it. That's all I got to say. I don't want to take up too much time. You probably got other guys on, but I didn't vote for Allen. I'll tell you that. I voted for the other guy. And love you guys. Jet life to the next life.
Pork, well said. I appreciate you. Open phone lines for those who want in. A man in Australia is next. Australian Jets fan. Australian Jets fan, we asked you earlier how the people of Australia are reacting to the Minkah deal. Well, now the Jets have made 4 signings in free agency, all on defense. How are the people in Australia reacting to those moves?
They still haven't reacted. They're still all asleep. Why I'm not asleep, I cannot tell you. But that's the issue for me to figure out. But I'm backing in the big Mooj. I like what he's doing so far, and I think we all like what he's doing so far. Only time will tell, but I'm supporting him. I'm confident. But my question is, with the obvious overhaul of the defense, what do you think is like a pass mark for Aaron Glenn to not get fired? How many games do you think the Jets have to win?
At least 6, if not 7, with the arrow pointed up. Not all 7-win seasons are the same. They could start 1-7 and win some games late when it doesn't matter, or beat some bad quarterbacks like what Gase did in his first year after
Classic
a 1-7
Jets
start.
fashion.
Yeah, they're gonna have to show they're gonna have to look like a well-coached team that starts the year in decent shape. They don't need to go out there and need to be in the playoffs necessarily, but can they be in the hunt in December in a league full of parity? Can you find a way to be in the mix going into the last month of the year? Can you start 5-5 through your first 10? Am I asking for too much based on what I saw in year 1? Probably, but again, they're making wholesale changes to this team. They have a lot of resources to improve the roster. They're not bereft of talent on offense. They hired a veteran OC, the Glenn's handpicked guy, and Frank Reich. Find a way to get some competent quarterback play, build up the defense. The special teams with Banjo, we think will be good. We'll see what they do without Nick Folk now. That's kind of how I look at it. Can you find a way to win at least 7 games? I don't think we're asking for that much.
Yeah, I was really disappointed to find out Falk went as well. And I think that Gino is going to be our quarterback. That's just my guess. But I also wanted to ask, I heard you talking about Brian Thomas Jr. Has he been listed for trade, or what? Why have you brought him up as a trade target?
Why, Brian? Well, he's been rumored to be potentially available. That's why.
Yeah, I just haven't heard about it, so I was that's why I was asking. What do you think they'd had to give up for him?
I think a second round pick 44, could be the headliner.
Yeah, would you be happy with that?
I think I would want to examine more why he's available in the first place. I need to text one of my friends who covers the Jaguars and get more insight into it. Because a guy who was as good as he was in year one, 1,300 yards, why is he available? But I think without doing that, I would roll the dice and say yes, I'd be interested.
And then, like, if you had to pick, actually, no, never mind. I'm not going to ask that. It's a stupid question. The time's getting to me. I'm getting a bit tired, but thanks for
Why don't you
taking
go
my
to
call.
sleep? You'll wake up. The Jets will make more moves.
I will, but there needs to be someone in Australia to react to all these moves at the moment.
You're not wrong. What's Craig doing? Is he asleep?
Probably. I don't know what time he gets up for work, but it's almost
You
6
don't?
a.m. No,
Wow.
I
thought you
don't. I
would.
don't know. No, me and Craig aren't like that. Sorry. And he's also half an hour behind me, so I doubt he'd be awake at like almost 5:30 in the morning.
I'm messing with you.
Thanks, Jake. Go Jets.
You're welcome.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
You're welcome. Let's pause. Here's a message from the Gary 3D Boxing Show.
Welcome to my new show, No Ma'am. I'm Gary 3D Boxing, your host. If you believe only men should vote, women should make babies, and men make money, that the best gift to give your wife is a vacuum cleaner or a treadmill, then you're in the right place. Remember, the best quality is inequality. All right, first topic of the night. History lesson, fellas. How did the ladies scrub down those pyramids back in ancient Egypt? Let's pull some answers. Chat's already firing off. Camel spit and determination. I see you. We've got Big Rick from Tucson on the line. Rick, what's up?
Yeah.
Palm fronds and vinegar water, he says. That's old. Okay, ASMANIACs, extraordinary show tonight. Extraordinary. And look, if you vote for me, the community will know that you're a misogynistic psychopath. Keep that in mind. I'll see you next week. Keep your guard up.
As Maniac Madness continues right now, who you got? Rob the Jet fan with the lead over Allen, 57-43. Winner will take on Kyle Clifton in the round of 32. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. I appreciate everyone for their support. We have a super chat from the big fella. It says Joe Douglas equals shrinkage. Muji equals 3 lengths. The Mooj. I'm not going to go crazy with Muji. It's fun. I think he's done a really good job. I think he's competent. But we all love Joe Douglas, so things change quickly. Ultimately, similar to Joe Douglas, how Muji gets the answer at quarterback, either figured out or not, will define his tenure, will it not? Like, I think Darren Muji has done some really good things so far. He didn't hire Glenn, so you can't put that on him. The biggest thing that Muji will have to figure out is their plan at quarterback. That is the biggest thing. Hey, I want to shout out Indy Jets, who says, sitting here getting my IV, watching Jake. The Jets getting better and better. Hope you're doing well, Indy. Everyone send their well wishes to Indy in the chat. He's going through some health problems right now, so appreciate you being tuned in, Indy. Envelet says bridge QB is everything. Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at the options at quarterback, we know Malik Willis is not an option anymore. He's going to Miami. No surprise that it's either Miami or Arizona for him. But now that it's Miami, does that mean Geno's now in range for the Jets? Could it be Geno and a Derek Carr quarterback competition? Geno, and then they flip. They have 2 4th-round picks now because of comp picks. Could they flip a 4th rounder to Arizona to get Jacoby Brissett and have him and Geno be the quarterback for the season? I could live with that. Paul says, I could see Love being there at 16. I don't think Jeremiah Love makes it to 16. I'd be surprised. Adam says, with Casey getting Walker, the probability of Love being available. Again, do people really think Jeremiah Love is going to be in play at 16? I'd be shocked. We're presented by FanDuel. Here's your look at the latest Super Bowl odds. Obviously, these will not feature the Jets, but the Rams are the favorites right now. They have moved in front of the Seahawks, which I find interesting, at plus 700. Seattle plus 750. The Ravens, following the move, of course, of Max Crosby, are now at plus 1,000. Bills plus 1,100. Green Bay plus 1,400. Chargers, interesting, plus 1,600. Notice New England nowhere near here. T-Tone says, no way Carr comes out of retirement to compete for a job. What do you mean, no way? He has no choice. Who's handing Derek Carr a starting job? No one is. Baker Mayfield had to compete in Tampa. That's how this should go. Josh says Love goes at 5 to the Giants. Maybe. I think the Giants are going to take Sonny Styles. I've heard they really like Sonny Styles. Jeffrey says CJ Stroud coming. I can tell you he is not. Trust me on that one. The Texans are not going to deal CJ Stroud. And they're not going to trade Davis Mills either. By the way, the contract details on Malik Willis are out. 3 years, $67.5 million, $22.25 million signing bonus, $20.5 million base for 2028. It's essentially a 2-year deal. There's no guarantees after the first 2 years. Now, I wonder what the Cardinals do at quarterback. They're kind of in a similar spot as the Jets. Like, they're not going to take Ty Simpson at 3. So what's their plan at quarterback? Because it obviously does impact the Jets as well. Here are the numbers, by the way, on the Malik Willis contract. Interesting. All right, I got open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Obviously, a slew of Jets moves. Seemingly, things have maybe calmed down a little bit. But just as I say that, you never know what could happen. So we'll keep you up to date on anything that transpires that you need to know. In the meantime, let's hear from you. Chef Kevin is in the house. He's next on our show. What up, Chef?
Jake, my man, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had shout out to Indy Jet, man. Get better, my guy, man. He was somebody that was in this tournament last year. He's a good dude. He's an ASMANIAC supporter and all that. Please send your prayers up to him. It's definitely tough. I had a little situation last week where I was in the hospital, dealt with an emergency surgery, man. It was difficult, but I'm recovering as well. It's nothing compared to what Indy's going through. So, it is important to make sure we keep him in our prayers, definitely his family and all that. Free agency, man, is off to a good start, man. It's obviously on the defensive side of the ball, which I'm pretty happy about. It's just now it's like, all right, so how are we going to position and make the offense look a little bit better? So offense, it doesn't look like in the draft that we can go too early with the pick that we're at. So it's like, what can we really nail in free agency? And the Cisco, the Stevens stuff last year, I mean, that didn't look all good. But now with the pass rushers we have, with the defense, the veteran presence is what I was really pissed off last year about, with us just getting a whole bunch of younger kids in here. Like, if you talk about trying to build a locker room, you need veterans, you need leaders,
no
you
leaders.
need winners.
Yeah, they had nothing.
And it's tough, man. So I hopefully they learn from last year's mistakes, having a bunch of inexperience over there, not a lot of winners in leadership. And when our head coach is saying that our quarterback feels is a winner, that just shows the ineptitude of what we really have on a roster at that time. Now, fast forwarding, him making the play calls, man, like, we should feel good that he's going to give it his all. Last year didn't seem like, he was really just giving it. It was almost like he was just staring into no man's land on the sidelines, just pacing back and forth. He had no control over that stuff. But now with him in charge of the defense, we should really see the defense take a big step this year. Am I talking about like 8-9 wins? I'm not at that point. Obviously, the biggest piece of all this is the quarterback. And if we don't do a good job nailing the quarterback, then all this stuff really doesn't really make much sense anyway. If we can't move the ball on offense, if we can't put points on the board, then what's in Neil's terms, what's good with getting all these fatties now, with all these defensive tackles, these edges? What's the point of all that? all right, we stop the run, the pass a little bit, but if we can't get the points on the board, we're still going to, it's not going to look good. In the NFL, we need to put points, 25, 30 at least on the board and make this stuff competitive for us to look good. All right. That's where I'm at. I'm one of those dudes who's a big Breece guy. I was happy that we tagged him. I wish we got him a longer deal. I think that's kind of why he's doing this stuff right now or whatever. Like, yeah, he got a bag, but he's looking for a long-term deal, man. When you look at Kenneth Walker, who just got multiple years from a team that didn't draft him, that needed a running back, that got more money than what Breece is making this year, yeah, you're going to feel a certain way. I get that. Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker deserves the bag that he got, but from a homegrown team, the Jets drafted this guy. All right. If we get rid of him, yeah, we can find somebody. Who else we gonna find? We ain't gonna find nobody else in the running back market who's gonna help us win this year.
Especially now because the ETN signed, done, Kenneth Walker signed. So again, Breece is gonna be here. It's just a matter of, do they get a deal done or does he play on the tag?
That's it. So for me, I feel like he's gonna put in the work. Yeah, he's playing around on social media. That's what a lot of these younger athletes do nowadays. I think Kevin Durant kind of started with most of that stuff, just going back and forth with people or whatever. Breece, if you're here, man, Jake's a supporter too, man. You got Breece people here, man. You put in the work. Breece in space. Like, we had the offensive coordinator with dumbass Hackett, man. He didn't even know that Breece could catch the ball out of the backfield until the Giants game on that 9-11 season. That was like week 6 or 7. Like, this is what Breece had to deal with. He had to deal with who was the quarterback. He's doing this on his own. The line, okay, yeah, there's some holes, but look at the other weapons. He was without Garrett last year. He's doing all this by himself, man. We need to make sure we put the ball and give him the rock, man. Put him out in the flats. Let him line up. Let him create. Let him get some yards. But he can't do it by himself. So right now, hey, our defense, okay. I'm not going to start jumping up and down like, we nailed this stuff. I'm not going to do that. But we got to see what we're going to do on offense, man. The offense is really where we struggled last year and where I need to see some big significant improvement to actually feel a little bit happy. That's where I'm at, Jake.
Well said. It's a good start. And again, it's all on Glenn to fix the defense because he fired the entire defensive staff. He assumed play calling duties. He said it's his superpower, which could come back and hurt him if he doesn't turn it around, or if he doesn't turn it around, he'll get a lot of credit for that. And even if the offense is not fixed, given the quarterback options the Jets are considering, there's a path for him to save his job. But the defense has to be better, and he's bringing in guys who clearly fit what he wants in the players he needs. So now he's got to do it because actions speak louder than words. We've heard this coach talk big games and nothing matters, nothing translates. Let's see it. But I think it's a good start. I think the GM is certainly competent at his job, and I think the Minka trade is the best example of that yet again.
Agreed. That safety spot, man, getting beat, man, like lining people up properly. Like, they were just no man's land with the cornerbacks, man. They're just playing by themselves in that Wilkes defense, man. It was just a mess, man. The more layers we peel back on what really happened last year, like, they didn't have coaching. They didn't have that. So now you bring in the coaches. The head coach is saying, it's on me. All last season, it was on me. He's saying it. All right, this is what I want. I wanted this. I wanted this kind of accountability from our head coach. And he's like, you know what? All right, now I'm just going to buckle in. I'm going to call the defense. It's going to be on me now. I'm going to get the players. I'm going to work with Mooj. We're going to get it right. So right now, with all this, cool. Free safeties, the safety help, linebackers, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Let's draft that at 2, man. Okay, Reese, Bailey, Bain, what? Get me somebody who's going to be a game wrecker, man. I want that ball on offense. I need the weapons, man.
Well said. Chef, great call.
Appreciate you, Jake. Have a good one, man.
Chef Kevin checking in. Update in poll voting, ladies and gentlemen. As Maniac Madness, get your votes in. 43, Rob leading Alan. Now, Alan said he's retired from the show. I thought he'd maybe come back to try and beat Rob, but I guess Alan's not going to call in. Maybe he's truly done with the show. I don't believe it, but maybe he is. Who knows? Let's get to more of your calls now, shall we? Open phone lines for anyone who wants in. There's no wait time. Philly Noodles, you're next. What's up, Philly? Unmute your mic, my friend.
Oh, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Overall, I think we're having a good, start to free agency. It's not a terrible look whatsoever. The Mika deal, I think, was probably overall, depending. I mean, no Linderbaum and no QB move yet, but I think that was probably going to be the highlight. I think it's a decent deal too. You're not really overpaying because it's a Pro Bowl player. So, I mean, they're going to come with their price tag no matter what, unless you're in a Super Bowl contending team. So I think that was a great move, 100%. You do see the AG connection happening. I'd love to be a fly in the wall. I don't know about you, Jake. Just wondering, Anzalone between Davis. What was that flip there? Was it like AG said, no, get me Davis first. Anzalone would be second option.
So it sounds like it was Anzalone has a home in Tampa, Peter Schrager said, and that was part of the reason he wanted to go to the Bucs. And I mean, look, I think the money is pretty comparable. They're both essentially around the same money in guarantees. Like I think Anzalone got 2 for 17, and Davis got 2 for 22, but it's $15 million guaranteed in year one, so it's essentially a 1-year, $15 million deal.
Correct. Yeah. So to me, it's like it's the same pay almost, literally. So it is what it is. But we'll take a defensive captain like that. That guy's a chief. He's a warrior. He's not that's a guy. To me, I mean, he is bringing his people. Onyemata. People don't realize. I think he was part of that draft class with him in New Orleans. Glenn was there in New Orleans with him when they first drafted him. David Onyemata. So that's another one. I thought Amik Robertson would have been a get, and I saw he could have been. Maybe that's considered overpay. Like to me, what do we think is overpay at cornerback? I mean, we extended Sauce and then moved him, but we were going to pay him if we didn't move him. And
they
then
signed with the Commanders for 2 years and $16 million, 9.3 guaranteed. I don't know. I thought the Jets could have swam in those waters. It's not like that to me is not a big overpay, but maybe they felt like he wouldn't start for them because they're going to go Stevens, AZ, and then Brownlee. So they felt like maybe that was a little too much money for a guy who wouldn't be a starter.
I'd like to see if they can kick tires on Alontae Taylor. I mean, again, that's another Saint, another guy who knows how to play. That's a good pro. There's plenty of pros out there. They're going to be able to, snatch out there. I'd like to see Scat back. I'd like to see Vidal if they can get him on a cheap deal, especially if Nene Iguana doesn't come back. And you got your return in Williams. You can just add Vidal as a returner as well. Kid's quick, great pass catcher. I'd like to see the Linderbaum thing hurts me the most. Being one of those people. I mean, a cornerstone franchise athlete on a football team is your center. If you can get one, you can set yourself for years straight ahead without having a problem at that position. And I mean, for all those who say he got, that's an overpay. He just got $20 million. So he's way less than we all thought. I was saying I'll give the kid $24 million. He got 20, and he's going to the Raiders. That's not even a successful team. So the Jets could have had him, but I want that perspective to be in my head. The Jets definitely could have had him, but I mean, it is what it is. We'll move forward. But I don't know. I think Moogie's doing his thing, as he always said.
Linderbaum was never going to go with the Jets, and I don't think the Jets should pay $27 million for a center. We never thought it would get to that level. Creed Humphrey's the highest paid at $18 million. Linderbaum's getting what, $27 million AAV? I saw that's way too much.
Is it? I thought it was it's $60 million guaranteed, ain't it? That's 20 a year for him.
I think it's like 81.
Yeah, but it's 60 guaranteed, so he has to meet all those other incentives. He's basically getting paid 20 a year plus incentive.
Because I saw something from Joel Corey, who's an agent. Yeah, he's making $27 million a year.
Oh, so what the hell? All right, so I love when they do that crap.
$27 million per year, $9 million more per year than Creed Humphrey. Again, Linderbaum's awesome. If the Jets were in the Raiders spot, I'd justify it because you're protecting Mendoza. We can't do that if you're the Jets. You're not in a spot to do that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, at that point, because now you do have to grossly overpaid tackles. So we're going to have two tackles to extend at some point. One who actually isn't playing as well as the other one, who is a rookie versus a second year. So, I mean, it's interesting. Wide receiver market. I mean, Jesus, Alec Pierce, is he getting paid more than Mike Evans right now?
I mean, he got $29 million. He's almost getting paid more than Garrett.
What are we doing? Why do wide receivers always do this, bro? Hey, if you
there's so few and far between actually get to the open market.
Christ in heaven, bro. What it is to be a wide receiver, Jake. We messed up, bro. We should have been wide receivers with great talent. Bro, I don't know, man. And listen, Alan's not here, but I will represent for Alan. Alan, I wish you were here to just conversate about Breece Hall. I had enough of this bull crap. I know people who love Breece Hall. I know you're a Breece Hall dude. I get it. I get people got that sentiment, but you realize something here. One thing is for certain. I will predict now. I'll pull my Allen for 2026 preseason prediction. He is either going to be traded or not play on that tag whatsoever. Be prepared, everybody, because that's what could be happening.
So that means they extend him?
They better pray to God they extend him, because he's trying to reset a running back market that's going to be reset anyway when you have to extend Bijan down in Atlanta, and then they got to reset Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. He's neither better than those two by a margin. So to me, he's a top 10, maybe top 8 running back in the NFL, and that's how he should get paid. So whatever it takes to make that amount of money for him, good for him. But if he thinks he's going to reset the market, he needs to stop, wait a minute, look in the mirror and realize he ran for 1,000 yards. I mean, Tyler Algier might be able to do that by himself in a single season. So he needs to calm down. Everybody needs to calm down. They should have traded him last year in the season. They didn't. We'll see what happens. But
yeah.
Yeah. But
good call, Philly. I appreciate you.
Later, bro.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Smash the like button. We got over 1,000 of you still in here live right now. I'm working on some other guests that are going to be calling in to get their takes on the state of the Jets. We've heard from Frankie V so far. We heard from Will Parkinson on the first stream when the Minka deal went down. Great graphic from JetX that they just posted on their Twitter account. I want to show it here on the screen, give everyone an update on all the moves from today. Who's in, who's out. Minka in, Demario Davis in, Joseph Ossai in, Kingsley Enagbare in, David Onyemata in, out, John Simpson out, Nick Folk. Simpson was expected. Nick Folk is disappointing. The other moves I'm on board with. You can see their ages on the screen as well. Obviously, Demario Davis is 37, but the other guys on the defensive line are a lot younger. Now, Onyemata is 33. He'll be going into his age 34 season. But we've seen interior defensive linemen. They could play well into their 30s, mid-30s. And Davis is a unicorn. And Minka's still only 29. These are good moves. If it's going to work with Glenn, getting guys who fit his defensive scheme is the best way to it. Best way to try and give you something. New signing from the Giants. The Giants are signing linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to a 3-year, $36 million deal. So the Giants have a new linebacker that broke moments ago. Indy Jet says, I have called and texted Allen with no reply, unsure what happened to him. Nobody knows. Edmonds is a good player. It's a good move by the Giants. Black Gypsy said, what did Breece do? Why is everyone mad at him? Breece tweeted this and then has been tweeting back and forth with some fans. I think it's an overreaction. I think we just overreact to everything. Would I prefer Breece says nothing? Sure, but I think he's clearly not being serious here. Amanda says the voting poll disappeared for me. I didn't vote yet. Refresh your browser if the poll disappeared. Do we have a JFM signing? Is that what someone just said? Titans. Wow. Yep, we do. Titans are signing ex-Bronco defensive end John Franklin Myers. So Saleh getting the band back together, man. Unbelievable. The downfall of the Jets, you could argue, really started when they traded the downfall of like the Saleh Douglas era. Beyond like Rodgers getting hurt and missing on Zach Wilson. Going into 2024, when they traded JFM for a bag of used footballs and their plan was to replace him with Hassan Reddick, that was the beginning of the end. But JFM, according to Diana Rossini, is signing a deal with the Titans. Let's see how much money they're giving him. So Saleh has Jermaine Johnson. He has JFM now. What will it take to get Jamie and Sherwood's contract off the books for the Jets? What would it take to be able to maybe do that? Big money for JFM. 3 years, $63 million, $42 million guaranteed. JFM is getting paid. We will see JFM when the Jets play the Tennessee Titans this year. There are the contract details on the screen. He's a good player, JFM. I would have liked to have seen him back. The Jets were not going to shop in those waters. They were not going to swim in those waters. They weren't going to spend that kind of money. And again, I think JFM would rather go back with Saleh than back to the Jets, right? That's $21 million a year for JFN. That's big money. Good for John Franklin Myers. I have no ill will towards him. All right, who wants to talk Jets and free agency? Link is in the comment section. There is no one on hold right now. This is your chance to call in. Plus, make your voice heard. Voting for Allen, or are you voting for Rob, the Jet fan? Right now, the votes, they're coming in 58-42. Rob is leading in polling in this 8-9 battle of Asmaniac Man. More of your calls right now. Doug on the bed has called in, and Doug is next. Hello, Doug.
Jake, how you doing?
What's up, Doug?
Not too bad. Can't really complain about the signings. I think so far with most fans, my favorite move was probably the Minka move with the trade and the contract, and then Demario would be right under that. But on paper, this defense is already better than anything we had last year. Obviously, you don't play on paper, but it looks like a competent actual NFL defense.
Here's the base 3-4 if the season were to start now. Obviously, it doesn't, but here's your look. It's a lot better than what it looked like at the end of the year. That is for sure.
Are we doubting that in the first game there's going to be an interception by the Jets defense by the first quarter, knowing this team?
I need that Minka Fitzpatrick first pick of the season against Cam Ward in Nashville.
We all know there's going to be interception in the first quarter. It's like, well, and then they're going to be like, not going to go 17 games again, and it's going to be a whole LOL Jets thing because we can't go throughout the game with LOL Jets. But yeah, I like the signings. I like that we're plugging the holes on defense, not spending the money on offense. I know there's the rumors about Brian Thomas Jr. I'd give 44 up in a heartbeat for Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know if a lot of people agree with that, but you hope to get a player like Brian Thomas Jr. at 44. I know he had a down year, but he's still on his rookie contract. Just seems like the move to make if he's available to get, in my opinion.
Well, there's moves that are happening here, so things could still obviously unfold, but so far I think so good. You look at this defense, you look at the moves they've made. I think Muji's shown some competency. That's been my big takeaway.
Yeah, I agree, especially with all the contract, the way he pays the people. They're all essentially 2-year deals. They're not 3-year deals. So, because I think it was you or who said it earlier, the past regimes screwed us with contracts, or Will mentioned it in the stream earlier. I can't.
A lot of void years and dead money that the Jets are.
And Muji does a good job in how he structures it, so you don't get screwed by the cap hits in later years. So I like how he structures it. I like how they're building. I think these are better moves. Bring back Demario Davis is great. It sucks when they got rid of him the second time. You know, the first time, I guess they got it. The second time was worse. So yeah, I think this is the year they finally draft a kicker, maybe, because I don't know if they like free agent. So maybe draft a college guy you really like, see if that works out. And you have Chris Banjo, who's the best special teams coach in the NFL. So that should be good. It sucks to see Folk go, but I think this is the year they do finally draft a kicker.
I think the Jets are in a spot where they could do that. They have a lot of day 3 picks. They also could just sign someone who's out there. We'll see what their plan is.
I mean, they went into last year with a camp battle. I wouldn't be shocked if they go into this year again with a camp battle. So
yeah, again, but they brought in Falk to win the battle over Mevis because they wanted a more proven kicker.
I love Nick Folk, great kicker, but does like one party like worry about like the range? I know he like that one, the game winner against Atlanta, he just snuck that in. It was a great kick. But like as the older he get, would the range worry you at all? Because from obviously 50 in, he wasn't going to miss. But like after you get over 50, like how far could he really kick? And especially at MetLife, not a dome stadium. Did that worry you at all?
No. I mean, he's been the most accurate kicker in the league the last 3 years.
Fair enough. Well, Jake, I hope there's more exciting signings. We all know what's going to happen. You're going to end the stream, and then there's going to be a big breaking news.
I know. That's why I've been staying on longer and longer. And it always happens, too.
Yeah.
Where you end the stream, and then boom, all these signings.
Breaking
So,
news.
You know it.
I'll just wait till you end, and then I'll just go check the Twitter to see that's when the big news is coming.
I
Jake,
appreciate it, Doug.
Have a great day.
Good call by Doug. We're joined right now by our next special guest, the host of the Dylan Terriman Experience. It's Dylan Terriman. Hello, Dylan.
What up, Jake? How's it going?
Oh, man, busy day. I know you've been following along all day. Give me your thoughts on the Jets free agent signings and then the Minka trade as well.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Glenn has to be a happy man today with, what is this now, 5-6 additions to the defensive side of the ball alone. 5 additions with the trade. So we talked about it the other day, and I reposted it today, and hopefully Demario sees it. But we called that. I mean, I've kind of been saying it for a while. If you're going to be in the market for Anzalone, just go get Demario Davis. It made more sense, honestly. And I like that he's tapping into, he being Aaron Glenn, tapping into the relationships from the Saints more so than just the Lions, because David Onyemata, the defensive tackle, who, although he is 34, going to be 34 soon, there's that clip going out, I think the Jet Press put out, of Aaron Glenn and Onyemata having an exchange after the Jets-Falcons game, and Onyemata saying, like, oh, thank you so much for that meeting 10 years ago. Like, you've changed my effing life. So I like that he's tapping into the crossover from the Saints more so than just the Lions specifically. And then you add 2 25, 26-year-old edge rushers, and then you can still add one in the draft and have a nice rounded 4 pass rushers. And now we have 4 really stout defensive linemen. So I think Aaron Glenn is a very happy man, if I had to guess.
What are your thoughts on the base 3-4 that the Jets potentially could line up with?
Yeah, I'm glad that Nania put this out to kind of paint a picture for everybody. Nania, very positive on Twitter today, saying he likes the value of these free agent deals, which is great, because I know sometimes Nania gets painted as like a super negative guy, and I feel like he's just, he's pretty specific in what he likes, and he goes from an analytic angle. So a lot of the times the Jets aren't, doing what he likes, but this graphic here is really well laid out. I love Ossai and McDonald on the edge. Then you have Enagbare, who gives you a consistent floor in pass rushing. I think he's been anywhere between like 25 and 27 pressures each of his 4 seasons in Green Bay. And he is pretty stout against the run as well. So you have a nice play style difference between McDonald, Ossai, and now Enagbare. And then Onyemata, Sweat, and Briggs. Obviously, we still have Harrison Phillips as of now. I know some people are kind of worried that maybe Phillips is expendable at this point with his like $7 million that you can clear up on the cap. I don't know if they'll necessarily do that. I think they look at him more as a leader, but like I said, you have a really strong front 4 defensive tackles and edge. And then on the back end, or the second level, really that glue that Aaron Glenn was talking about last year, Demario Davis, man, you can't get much better than that. They're still going to add a linebacker. I'm not saying that they should just be done with the position completely, but Saleh talked about flag bearers on his team when he came in, and they didn't have enough of them in his first year. And he got guys like Quan Alexander and people like that trickled down the message. That's exactly what Demario Davis is going to be. And, Will Parkinson was saying that he's a vocal leader. He's not CJ Mosley, who leads by example. He's Demario Davis, who's going to lead by getting like loud and vocal and put everybody in the right place to succeed. So I'm happy with the depth. We talked about it just the other day. Depth on the D line is so important, and I feel like people are gonna think it's a little too much. But to me, this is perfect to have 8 strong defensive linemen. When was the last time the Jets were good? 2022 and early 2023, and we had a really strong defensive line. So I'm happy that they're trying to do their own version of that now.
Here's the Nania thread you referenced. I think the Jets are crushing it. I could be more nitpicky than most when analyzing free agent contracts, but I think these have all been fair values and good fits. I don't know how much it means for them winning games in 2026 when they don't have a quarterback and may not have an OC or head coach either, but at least they're trending the right way defensively. They might have a GM, though. Muji keeps looking more and more like a sound decision maker. That's been my big takeaway. I think we got a general manager that I have some faith in the Muj.
That's quite the picture with the little soul patch goatee and the slightly gelled with sweat faux hawk. I love this, and the off-center jersey just thrown over for the quick headshot. This is a perfect picture of Mooj, but hey, he's not asleep. Aaron Glenn may or may not have been asleep at the combine, but Muji is not asleep on free agency Monday, and I think they're doing some pretty strong moves, and they've only lost 2 guys, Simpson and Nick Folk, and I think the number on Nick Folk was 2 years, $9.5 million. I don't know if the Jets wanted to go $4 3/4 million for Nick Folk over 2 seasons, so we have to replace kicker, and left guard we'll figure out. And I've been a advocate for Vangelione from Penn State, so we'll see what happens there.
Would you take him at 16?
Yeah, 100%. It depends on everybody else who's there, of course. Like the context of like if it's
Let's say
Mekhi
one of the
Lemon,
receivers are there.
No, I'm taking the receiver. If
So
it
Tyson, Carnell Tate, and Lemon, one of them are there. You could pick which one. Are you taking the guard over any of them?
I'm taking the guard over Tyson, but I'm not taking him over Lemon or Tate if they fall. And that's just more the medical scare me, and I don't have enough information to speak knowledgeably on what their takeaway is from the medical, so I'll just steer away from that. Plus, I do think that there is still a chance, like there is too much smoke around Brian Thomas Jr. getting traded. I don't know if the Jets offer 44 or if it's like 44 and they get something back for Brian Thomas. I just think that they could do that as well. And I just saw Brian Cook is going elsewhere for three-year deal. Bengals. So he will not be with the Jets, who is somebody that I was targeting for us. So
I'll tell you what, the good news is the Jets were able to get the deal done with Minka earlier. So they plugged safety for a 7th round pick.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll double dip, even if it is like a $5-6 million asset at free agent or a free agent veteran or free agent safety, excuse me. They could just
Brisker sign him.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they want veteran leadership, and I know a lot of people are like, we're way too old now. We were the 2nd youngest roster last year, and it equated to 3 wins. Youth does not always mean success. You need to have some guys in your roster, maybe like at most 4 guys who are in their 30s, who are playing like defensive line, linebacker, offensive line, maybe quarterback. Safety is a position you can get away with too. Like you need some older guys. You can't just have only young guys. Of course, that's the preference everywhere, but those young guys have to be good. Our young guys were Sam Womack and Keidron Smith. So if it's Minkah Fitzpatrick and Kevin Byard, or Jaquan Brisker, I'm totally cool with going a little bit older at the safety position.
Quick signing update. Jordan Schultz reporting Titans re-signing corner Josh Jobe, 3-year, $24 million. I thought he would have been a name to potentially look at from the Jets. Want to get to your calls. Call-in link is pinned. And right now there's a battle in ASMANIAC Madness going on. Rob the Jet fan and Allen squaring off in the 8-9.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Dylan, give us some quick thoughts on this. Did you cast a vote between Rob and Allen?
I did cast a vote. And when I did cast the vote, it was for the underdog. Mr. Allen on the right-hand side was where I put my vote.
Voted against Rob?
Yeah. Rob and I have fine calls. Allen and I feel like when Allen and I are talking ball, we're fine to a degree. Sometimes we disagree. But I like Allen a little bit more than I like Rob. That's nothing against Rob, but this is why it's an 8-9 matchup. It's supposed to be the closest one we've had so far.
You've had beef with Allen, though, so I thought Rob would get your vote.
I do. I have beef with Allen, but it's rooted in good fun. It's for the same reason that I have like beef with Gary. Like I talk a little bit of smack. He gives me, his rebuttal, and then we smile and we talk about Arch Manning or Spencer Rattler. That's what Gary and I do. Allen, we try to pivot. Sometimes we talk non-football and we have better conversations. But yeah, I would go Allen over Rob in this one.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Vote. Get your voice out there. Hold on. Let me add Dylan back to the screen. And joining us right now to make his case, maybe he could sway you, Dylan. Maybe he could force you to make another YouTube account to vote for him. Is the aforementioned Rob.
Gator, I don't understand why I don't have an intro. Gator, I need an intro, buddy. A cool intro, please. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You got Adam is too cool, Papa 73, and I don't understand why you won't create one. Women.
You have no sense of humor. That's the problem.
I don't.
When you have a sense of humor, then you can have an intro.
I'm worthy of an intro.
All right, fine.
I don't understand why I don't have an intro.
Dylan, Very, very disappointed in you. Very disappointed. You take a fake fan over a real Jet fan, a guy who praises Drake May, a guy who loves Josh Allen, a guy who quits the Asmaniacs and disappears constantly and comes back, and he gets his vote over me? Are you kidding me?
It's not about being a Jets fan. It's about
He's
being
a
an
phony.
Asmaniac.
Yeah, but he's a phony. He's a phony.
I think Allen is very polarizing in the bracket, and the longer Allen is in the bracket, I think that helps our buddy Jake a little bit more.
You hurt me. You hurt me,
I'm
buddy.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I thought we were bros, but I guess not.
We are. Like I said, it's nothing against you. Like I said, I think strictly from a drama standpoint, Allen being in the tournament further makes it more compelling for people to tune in on the off chance that Allen does call in. That's going to be fireworks. It's going to be 4th of July in March on the Jake Asman Show.
Yeah, he's compelling like Jokic. This fuck guy. But he's like an annoying ant that you got to squish sometimes.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree, especially when he calls in wearing his hoodie up like he's like Steve Buscemi. What's up, my fellow young kids?
A little scary, a little creepy, right?
Yeah, that comes with the territory with Allen.
Jake, I'm calling. Muji is rocking and rolling with a couple of these picks. I like Demario Davis. I've liked him way back when. I never understood why we even got rid of him, because he was like almost like a Harris. He was like a machine. He started like producing sacks like crazy. Good, solid player, and he's done nothing but get better, in my opinion. And as far as Fitzpatrick, Minka, I mean, I'm very happy with that. Very happy. Now I'm a little bit, yes, for sure. I'm a little bit mad, Jake. I mean, they should have signed Folk. I know it was a lot of money for a kicker, I guess, but he was so on the money. You know, that was part of the problem why a few years ago, if we had Folk, maybe Aaron Rodgers would have hung out another year, because we lost so many games because of the lack of having a consistent kicker. Now we finally find one. Let's be honest. Nobody's kicking 60-yard field goals on the Jets. Even if Folk was making them 57, 58, that would have been good enough, at least for now. So I didn't agree with them losing Folk and starting all over with kicker. As far as Simpson, I could see them losing Simpson because of the penalties and everything. And I'm kind of pissed off that AVT didn't want to come back, because I wanted one of those two guys. Dylan, I don't agree with taking a lineman 16th pick. No way. You can't. Even the guy from Penn State. I mean, we need too many things right now. If they do a fill-in guard via free agency or go lower in the draft, I don't think we can be wasting a pick on a guard. And I shouldn't say it's a waste, but I think we have more pending needs in other positions. So I would not take him 16. I know where everyone thinks that I just agree with all Jake's takes and everything, but not true in the sense that I want Ty Simpson. And you know what? Preferably 33, but I would not say no 16th pick overall. I wouldn't say no to it. Yeah, Ty Simpson. Yeah. He's the same guy that Joe Blewett, right? Joe Blewett was saying that he looked better than Mendoza in the beginning of the year. 1A, 1B. So why wouldn't you try to get this guy? This guy's going to go, and you're going to lose him. Yeah, I tell you, I would get Brissett for like a 4th or a 5th round pick, and I would couple him with Ty Simpson. And if it happens that they need Carr out of retirement, and it doesn't cost a lot, I would throw him in the mix with those three guys. Because I'll tell you one thing, I do not want to see Geno Smith and Carson Wentz, or as Peter Castro says, Carlson Wentz. I don't want to see any of those two clowns, because if those two clowns are there, they will be very, very unwatchable. I don't think I even want to watch them with Geno Smith and Carson Wentz. I don't. I'm sorry. But
Rob,
that's all
good
I have
call,
to
though.
say. That's
Good
all I
call.
have to say. I just wanted to give out a Jets, 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 Jets. Vote for Rob, please.
Rob, I was going to say, good luck, good call, and we'll play you out properly.
Gator, where is my intro? I need a cool intro. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You did intros for Papa Jet, and Adam is too cool. I'm worthy of an intro, Gator. I don't understand why I don't have an intro. You suck, Gator. You really suck.
All right, we're back. Rob, good job. And people could decide who they want to vote for. DT voted for Allen. But right now, it's Rob in the lead, 59-41. So vote for your chance to determine who advances to the next round in Asmaniac Madness. Ref fan for life says, vote Allen. Wow, some Allen support. How about that? Never thought I'd see the day. But then Dylan said he voted for Allen. Henny writes it. I just want to be in the hunt come November and December, please. Dylan, I said this earlier. I don't know if you were watching then. Can they start 5-5, 6-6? Can they be in the mix? Again, the bar is pretty low. Can you play some competent football? I think is what we're looking to see.
Yeah, that's really all we're asking. Just be in the mix through the month of November. Give yourself a chance in the month of December. See where you stack up in the conference, in the division, and go from there. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And of course, everybody's going to say, who's the quarterback, right? Because right now on paper, we have nobody. And that's the funniest thing to me is like up until like, you know, as of this morning, people were still asking me on Twitter, like, how many wins is this team? I was like, it's a 0-win team. We have nobody on it. Now, like, as we add these defensive depth players and now we kind of see what the vision is coming into focus into the draft. Yes, if we're not like a 4-4 team through 8 weeks, like we shouldn't be 1-7, 2-6. Like I'll take 3-5, 4-4, of course, but like we're way better than having 3 times the amount of losses than wins at any point in the season, even if that's a 1-3 start. Like I just feel like the bar should be elevated a little bit more than that. Like these are floor raising type of picks on the defensive line here, and Minkah Fitzpatrick being a veteran leader. So yeah, infuse some rookie talent, and I don't see why not.
Let's get to more of your calls right now. Appreciate everyone who is tuned in. The champ is on the line.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Real quick before Bonesy goes. Hold on, Bonesy. Breaking news. I want to address the Commanders are re-signing Marcus Mariota on a 1-year, $7 million deal. It can make up to $11 million in incentives. So cross Marcus Mariota off the board as a possible option for the Jets at quarterback. Go ahead, Bonesy.
Yep. Look, there's another one of Dylan's dart throws that is better than my dart throw. Come on, Dylan, let's talk, man. So
you know what I said in the chat as your intro was playing? I said Bonesy gonna bash Carr over my head.
Dude, because you keep telling me that you have all these better dart throws than my dart throw. And I think that my dart throw, the potential is 10 times better than your dart throw. So the Mariotas of the world, like I'm honestly getting a little nervous because Kyler is still out there and the Cardinals didn't sign Malik Willis. So that means Brissett is kind of off the table, in my opinion. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that there's still a way we can swindle Brissett because that's my guy too. But from a potential standpoint, a dart throw to me is a dart throw, and you can't convince me otherwise that there's a better dart throw than Derek Carr. Go ahead. Hit me, baby. Hit me.
It's not even that I don't think that there's – because there are better options. I would take Geno over Carr. I would take Kyler over Carr. I would take Cousins over Carr. I feel like the only
realistic ones. Give me realistic ones. Cousins is not realistic.
Geno's realistic.
You take Geno over Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Geno throws an interception every game, at least. Like, look at the stats. If Derek Carr is healthy, which is a dart throw,
in 14 games, I don't even know if this is actually 14. 3, 6, 9, in 10 games in 2024. Derek Carr had 8 turnover-worthy throws, 5 interceptions. oh, his arm exploded. He was on the couch for a year and a
He had
half.
15 touchdowns and 2,000 yards. That's 5 touchdowns less than we've even sniffed in the past 15 years, and we can't even hit 3,000 yards. Keep going.
Any quarterback would have been the second best quarterback in Jets history after Joe Namath. When we were trying to sign him in 2023, that was always the argument. It was always going to be this quarterback is going to be the second best we've ever had, no matter who it was. And that's still true. After Aaron Rodgers' best season in 2024 for us, it still didn't move the needle. He never beat the passing yards record. He didn't beat the passing touchdowns record. You earlier said that Derek Carr's average season, where is Derek Carr pulling an average season for himself out of his ass from? That's what I want to know.
Why can't he if he's healthy though?
Okay, but why can't anybody else if they're healthy? Who
else is going to get close to those numbers? Just tell me anyone.
Kyler Murray, 100% is getting way better numbers than Derek Carr.
But Kyler Murray is more injury prone than Derek Carr. Derek Carr has played
That's not true.
or more. What do you mean? Derek Carr has played 15 or more games his entire career, besides when his shoulder blew up.
Then he had to retire because of it.
He retired because he didn't want to get surgery, and now if he's healthy,
and he still didn't get surgery. That's not good. Not getting surgery on your arm is not good if you're a passer.
But you can't tell me that we're talking dart throws to dart throws, that Derek Carr is not a better dart throw than Mariota would have been, or Geno Smith.
He's about the same as Mariota. He's about the same as Mariota. He's about the same as Mariota.
How could you say that? Has Mariota ever even sniffed one of Derek Carr's seasons before? In terms of stats?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing, Bones. That's the thing, Bones. You're talking about stats, only stats.
But you go on his last year.
You throw on the film of Derek Carr, and outside of the first 3 games of 2024, where he was throwing deep to Rashid Shaheed, his arm immediately fell apart in October. Like, he can't play a full season.
Oh, my God. What has Kyler Murray done for you in the last 4 years? Tell me. Hit me.
In the last 4 years?
11 games.
In 2024. Hold on.
Games,
And you just asked me. In 2024, he had 68% completions, almost 69%, 3,850 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, only in the air. Hold on. Let's go back to his rushing, because you have to count that in with Kyler Murray. Almost called him Calamari, like Quinn Williams. 78 attempts, 572 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So 26 total touchdowns and over 4,300 yards. Derek Carr's not even
out of the last 4, though. Give me the other 3 years.
Okay, well, last year he was hurt, and he was almost going to lead them to a 3-0 start against San Francisco, but his teammates kind of let him down on that one. So last year he had literally no stats at all because he was hurt. Let me go to 2023. 2023, he had 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. And then the years before that, it was 37, 39, 39 to start his career.
So 11 games, 8 games. Then he played his full year, and then 5 games last year. You're going to tell me my boy, who's never played in less than 15 games in the season, is injury prone just because he had a hurt shoulder.
He played in 10 games his last year. What do you mean less than 15?
Yeah, because his shoulder, he hurt his shoulder. He was playing hurt.
Okay,
so he was playing hurt, and he still threw for 15 touchdowns and 5 picks for 2,000 yards in 10 games on a bum shoulder, and we can't even hit any touchdowns.
Okay, but like I said, if you and I'm not excusing his good play in those first few games. He had 5 touchdowns and 1 interception in the first 2 games of the season, which completely skew his stats metrics. That's why I'm saying stats aren't the whole picture. If I were to go on the film and pull out some Derek Carr clips of him crumbling in the pocket, you would not want that. I promise, man.
You're going off 1 year.
No. Derek Carr has made these mistakes since his rookie year. Okay, there are 5 examples of Derek Carr. Hold on. There are 5 examples of Derek Carr fumbling the ball in the end zone for a touchback in his NFL career.
There's also 28 times in his career where he's been trailing in the fourth quarter and have won the game.
And you know, he's part of the reason why his team is trailing in the first place, because
they
the
suck.
first 3 quarters. No, come on, man. You're making so many excuses for the guy, and I'm not even making excuses for my quarterback that I want. Dylan. I'm telling you, stop watching football with a calculator. Watch it with your eyes. Stats don't mean shit. Stats don't mean shit.
Joe, you messed up my Wi-Fi.
Stats
All
to
right.
me don't
Joe
mean shit.
Bonesy in the background choosing the DT side. I love it. You don't even have your own brother on your side, Bones. He wants.
No, he was on the Wi-Fi. I told him to stop going on the Wi-Fi. He was scrambling me.
No, I'm definitely on my brother's side. I mean, he just said stop looking at stats, and he just gave Kyler Murray stats. So
No, because I'm saying because Bonesy's only using Derek Carr's stats to back up why he wants him. I'm arguing that the film of Derek Carr is ass. The film of Derek Carr is ass, Bonesy.
All right, Dylan, my last question.
Who throws a better deep ball, Kyler Murray or Derek Carr?
Oh my God, who plays better?
Who's harder to sack, Kyler Murray or Derek Carr?
Who plays better in the pocket? Who goes through his progressions better? Who plays the quarterback position better?
They both go through their progressions just fine.
Dude, Kyler Murray can't even see over the offensive lineman.
I'm starting to think we don't know what progressions are because Derek Carr sees pressure, looks down at it, and folds like a freaking lawn chair.
Derek Carr averages 25 touchdowns a year with 3,700 yards.
Now we're back to stats. It's okay.
All right, Dylan. All right, last question. Who won the rap battle between Eminem and MGK?
Ooh, that's a good one because I love them both.
And you guys are going to believe the guy who
Killshot has some amazing lines. Killshot has amazing lines. I'd honestly wish that Eminem would perform it more, but he won't. Dude, what MGK said about like already fucked one rapper's girl this week, don't make me call Kim, like those subtle bars, like got you in the scope. Like it's a tie. It's a tie. That's how I'll say it. And I will say this. Because people think that Eminem completely crushed MGK's career is in itself a slight win for MGK because he's not dead. And all he's done is excel tenfold since then. So to me, if you're talking about did he kill his career? No. Bar for bar, they're about the same in terms of their song.
Well, you just rested my case. Now the chat can make their decision on who.
That's my honest opinion. I don't care what people.
It's your honest opinion about Kyler.
Eminem is the better rapper. I will never defend MGK as the better rapper, but he stood toe to toe with Eminem and did not fold and kept making good beats and good tracks and good bars about Eminem.
Hey, more importantly, who do you got in the Allen versus Rob battle, Bonesy? Before I let you run,
This isn't going to be. Listen. Think about what you want with Rob. Everyone has their opinions on, what he's done and who he is. But when you're talking about Allen versus Rob here, imagine us letting Allen win without showing up. He would never let us hear the end of it. I hate Allen as a person. Rob, I can only go by my individual experiences. And when I was in Las Vegas and I had some beef with Raiders fans, who was right there to have my back? Rob. He was ready to fight for me. While Allen would have fucking folded like a tent. So between this matchup, I cannot let Allen Rob all the way. Italian Stallion. Gotta go Rob. You cannot let Allen win without showing up. He won't let any of us hear the end of it if he doesn't even watch the show and fucking Allen wins. We cannot let Allen win in a battle like that. Okay, Allen. I would love Allen to call in so he could defend himself, but I can't even listen to Allen talk. Allen just really wants to hurt people's feelings and make them feel like shit. And
But be honest though, Allen in the bracket longer is so much more polarizing and enticing and like on the edge of your seat suspense as opposed to Rob. Allen doesn't need to call in. He can get to like the Elite 8 or Final 4.
This is more just because of Rob's beef rather than
No. This is the mark that Allen has left on the community. It has nothing to do with Rob. It's more about Allen and like almost creating a legacy where he doesn't even have to call in. And that's not me like glazing Allen or anything, but it's just like it speaks to the volume of what he brought to the show because listeners from a year ago who remember Allen, they're like, oh, Allen doesn't call anymore. I still love Allen and all his takes were hilarious and they're going to vote for him.
I can't like it. Once you say all this nice things about Allen and then you talk to him and you'd be like, shit, what the fuck was I thinking? I forgot how much of a douchebag Allen was.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
All right, good stuff. Good back and forth there. Real quick, I want just to follow up on the quarterback stuff. Mariota gone, Trubisky gone. Willis gone. If the Jets want Wentz, he's there. If they want Geno, he's there. If they want to trade for Carr, he's still there. Kyler expected to end up in Minnesota. Gun to your head, who's the quarterback or the two quarterbacks the Jets signed at this point? I'm holding out hope they could still swing a trade for Brissett for being one of them, because I really don't want to do this ridiculous Wentz and Tua room or Wentz and Geno quarterback room personally.
Well, so what you're hoping for then is LA to lose Jimmy G to Arizona, which would make Jacoby expendable to Arizona. My prediction is going to be Geno Smith and Andy Dalton, with Ty Simpson as the rookie quarterback 3, and Bailey Zappi pushes Brady Cook off the roster as quarterback 4.
16 they take Ty, or 33?
Probably 16, but I also wouldn't rule out, like, it doesn't look like Pittsburgh wants to draft a quarterback. I still think Rodgers is going to come back, but if Simpson gets past 21, I would totally start calling to trade up for Ty Simpson from 33. That's maybe they don't do it. That's probably where I would start. But again, it all depends on how they feel about him. But yeah, Geno, Dalton, Simpson, I feel like is solid, right? You get 3 games out of Geno, 3 games out of Dalton, and then you get 10 games out of Ty Simpson.
What a room.
Real quick before I go, Bonesy put me in such a corner here with the chat because...
You don't have to go, by the way. I was just getting more calls.
No, I have to eat food. I have not eaten food all day yet.
I was going to say, I'm not kicking you off the show. If you wanted to stick around, you can.
I had to go too, but he put me in such a corner with this MGK Eminem stuff, because I'm not saying MGK is a better artist or rapper than Eminem, and everybody in the chat is like, oh, he's so stupid. Yeah, absolutely. A great battle, Bones. Yeah, I love it. I'll have to start doing some car film and start swaying you a little bit. I'll get your email from Jake, and I'll start spamming you with bad car film in your email. But I was put in a box with the MGK stuff because they're both good songs, and usually when somebody gets dissed hard enough, they either don't respond back or they stop doing a lot of their thing altogether. Like he didn't stop doing music. He immediately kept putting out songs. Eminem is going to continue to put out songs because he's 50 years old and raps better than anybody else on the planet. So yeah, Bonesy put me in a box there trying to prove his point.
Dylan, I'll talk to you later. Maybe the Jets make another move. You'll pop back on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And if you're not live, I will be live on the channel at Dylan Terraman on YouTube. So check me out there, live or pre-recorded. And then Buffalo Jet Fan and I tonight, 8 or 8:30 on his channel, breaking down all the moves.
Hell yeah. Dylan Terraman hopping on. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Get your votes in for Asmaniac Madness. Appreciate Dylan hopping on. Rhett Fan for Life says Dylan's takes on Carr are on par with Beast takes. I disagree with that one immensely. Again, I'm more open to Derek Carr than Dylan is, but I'm not like Bonesy, who just wants Derek Carr and thinks like we solved the quarterback spot. Like I don't want to just give Carr the starting job. He's got to compete. He didn't play football last year. Go win the job. Go win the job. I'm going to gift a membership. We still got 900 people in here. I want to get some people in our weekly raffle. For those who are new to the show, every Friday, I give away at least 3 to 5 signed Jet items on the show. This week, it's a signed Garrett Wilson helmet, signed Joe Klecko helmet, signed Joe Namath helmet. Make sure you enter the Asmaniac raffle for your chance to win. I'm going to gift one, and if you get it, we'll put you in the weekly raffle. Big thank you to everyone who supports the show year round that makes these weekly raffles possible to do in the first place. As I was gifting, Derek beat me to it. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Give him a hug, Woody.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Derek's membership went to DJ0298, and then I just gifted a membership, and it went to listener JKTI4GT. So JK, I got you, and I'll put you in our weekly raffle series. You were in for one. All right. More of your calls coming up. A lot of you are on hold, which I certainly appreciate. Let's say hello right now to an 11 seed in the Asmaniac Madness tournament. She's up against King Lowski in the round of 64. It's Raven. Hello, Raven. You're on mute, Raven. Unmute the mic. Mute button. There you go. Hello? I don't hear you. What is this? Call back right away, Raven. A little audio issue there. We'll get you right on. You won't have to wait. In the meantime, let's say hello to another caller who's on the line. That's Southern Jet. Hello, Rich.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Jake.
I know I was one.
Rich, do me a favor. Your internet was atrocious there. You were sounding very robotic, so that was a problem. All right. Keep it rolling here. Maybe third time's the charm for this one.
Purple Belt Mike, he loves the Dark Knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Yo, I'm presently surprised with what's going on right now. Not really addressing offense, but the defense was so bad they hit it hard, and the defense is no doubt better today than it was last year. So that's good to see. I would like to see some offensive moves though, and address the offensive line. Come here, honey. Come on, let's go. But just like we found a punter last year, we could find a kicker. Hopefully, you know, we got a really good special teams coordinator, so maybe we can find somebody. What do you think?
Let's hope. I mean, I would have loved to have just seen them bring back Nick Falk, but again, I'll put my faith in Banjo, and they did find the thicker kicker too, for what it's worth. He did go to the Rams and kick well for them. So let's hope they can find another really good kicker because they need one.
Yeah, that's like a huge need. Hopefully we can get that addressed and not draft one that's like, I don't know, unless we draft somebody that's good. But the guy that I forgot the punter's name. He was a UFL guy, wasn't he, or a kicker or a soccer guy or something?
McNamara?
Yeah.
I think he did punt in the UFL. Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, we see what happens in the spring. We get the best guy like we did with the punter, and we're good to go.
I don't hate that take. They got to get it right. As we know, games are usually tight in the fourth quarter, and the Jets are trying to win more games than anyone's going to expect them to. So your kicker could be a huge difference maker in that area.
And there's a guard free agent. I forgot his name now again. He's the for the Bills. We should definitely sign him because he's a good player, not a great player, and it also hurts the Bills because the Bills have no cap space. So let's work that out and get him. We need somebody.
The guy from the Bills who just signed with the Saints, he's gone.
He signed with the Saints? Fuck.
David Edwards.
Yeah, that's it. Edwards, yeah. Well,
Kevin Zeitler's a free agent. That's a name I'd look at if I'm the Jets.
But he's like 36, right?
So bring him in for a year and draft someone like every other team can do.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate. Be better than nothing, I guess.
Is Joel Bitonio still out there? I don't think he's signed yet.
I don't know. I think wasn't there also a guy with the Lions? Don't the Lions have a guard? Or is that Zeitler? I'm getting confused.
No, Zeitler is not on the Lions.
Don't the Lions have a guard? That's
I don't know off the top of my head. I do know Wyatt Taylor could be available too from the Browns.
Now
he's a free agent as well.
Gotcha. All right, Jake. My dog just took a shit, so I got to pick it up. So,
enjoy that. Thank you very much, Mike.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
All right. Let's see. Big Fella wrote DMX is better than both. Where are my dogs at? Thank you, Big Fella. Just seeing this now. Want to make sure I didn't miss anyone's super chats. I don't think I have. All right, let's go back to Raven. Hopefully we could hear her this time. Hello, Raven.
How am I?
Fantastic. You should have gave us, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Great.
Good job.
I like the moves that we're making so far. I think at the very least you've increased the floor of the defense because like you've put guys in that just know how to do their job, even though they necessarily aren't like right there anymore. And then I also just think you've put yourself in place to make a flexible draft plan. I mean, ultimately, I think it's better to go heavy on offense with the exception of Reese, because that just seems to be the winning formula in the league nowadays. But like I said, I think this puts us in a place where we can be flexible if need be.
They have filled a lot of early needs, and they should spend my hope, and they've done it to this point, fix the defense in free agency and then load up on offense in the draft.
So question though, I know a name that we are all monitoring is Brian Thomas Jr. do you think if we get him that we should still draft a receiver high? I personally don't, because I think between Garrett Wilson, Michi, and
Well, Mechie's
AP.
gone, but you would have
Oh,
Mitchell.
Mechie's gone.
To
You
answer
know
your
what?
question though, Raven, they would not draft the receiver at 16 if they traded for Brian Thomas Jr. Now, could they take
Yeah.
someone at 33 or 44? It's a really good receiver draft, and the value might match up where they still would, but I don't believe they would do it at 16. So then,
Yeah.
then let's say they don't fill guard, then maybe you feel better about potentially taking a guard at 16 if you did acquire BTJ in a deal for receiver.
No, I agree, because I think we're just missing that guy that, he's going to have like 800 yards, but he can be plugged in as a wide receiver one when necessary. So I agree with that. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. But yeah, no, I like the moves that we're making so far. I also think, it could just set us up to get better, and hopefully we have a solid enough team where next year we can plug in the quarterback. We have the weapons to kind of prop them up, because they're going to be a rookie. There's going to be a learning curve no matter how fantastic they are. At the very least, hopefully between free agency, trades, the draft, we can at least have a solid enough team that can, for all intents and purposes, plug in a quarterback later on.
I think that's well said. Now let's get to what people really are dying to get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
Your big time matchup with King Lowski in the opening round of the grown ass man region.
Well, listen, first of all, I'm honored to be part of the bracket in the first place. So thank you for that. Shout out to all the fans. I mean, listen, like me, I'm just going to blindly believe that I could beat anyone in anything. I'm extremely competitive, and I just hope y'all don't forget me as the foremost authority and representative of the, what is it now, Jake? 4%, or are we at 5% now?
We're for the 4%ers.
We're the 4%ers. Okay, well, like I said, I am the foremost authority and leader on the 4%ers. And like I said, I could take anyone. Even though I'm not a grown-ass man, I think grown-ass women are better than grown-ass men. Just saying. But listen, I don't want to get into like a whole thing with people. But just saying.
Well, Raven, good luck. Great call. Call him more, all right?
I will, for sure. Have a good one.
Raven, check it in. Well done. King Lowski, the national runner-up a year ago in action. Lowski a 6 seed, Raven an 11 seed. We'll get to more of your calls. Again, make sure you guys vote in the current ASMANIAC Madness matchup right now. Let me say hello to Danny Ballhead, who's next. Hello, Danny.
Hey, bud. How are you doing?
What's up, Danny?
Not much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. I actually had 3 points. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on it. I was watching the entire free agency, this entire NFL free agency, and honestly, I was looking at a few of the picks, and Demario Davis. I know that he's a little older. I think he's like a little longer in the tooth. I think 37 years old, if I'm not incorrect on that. But I mean, he's coming off a career year or a good year. But he's also kind of like that kind of locker room guy that you want in the organization. And if you're thinking about like drafting Arvell Reese at number 2, do you think that'd be somebody that you would think is a good kind of mentor for a player like that?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And he's played for Glenn before. He's been a team captain in New Orleans for years. He's exactly what they desperately need. I think he's a good mentor for Jamie and Sherwood as well.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I think that like it might not be like the most flashy signing, but I'm actually really happy about it. And I kind of find it nice. It's kind of like a full circle that, Demario finishes his career after being a 3rd round pick from us, doing so much better on the Saints and everywhere. Well, the Saints and with us for a year, but I think it's kind of nice. I think that's kind of a good full circle.
Yeah, I think he kind of fits exactly what they were desperately missing defensively. They have a leader in the back end with Minka. They have a leader for the front 7 now with Davis. He'll be a team captain, probably wear the green dot. They call the plays you would expect. So I think I have no issue with the signing. They overpaid a little bit, I guess, but again, it's a 1-year deal essentially for $15 million guaranteed.
Yeah, but what do you think would be a fair deal? Like 15 or 14? Like what would be an ideal signing?
Look, he's 37, so that's a big part of this. But again, like I think ultimately it was the right move. Like they had money to spend, and he is exactly the type of player that they have missed immensely with the lack of leadership on that defense.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. I think it was a great signing. I think it might be a little under the radar outside of the Jets nation, but no, I really do like that pick. My other one was Joseph Ossai. I know, like, from what I've been reading, at least from the reviews and from everything, that some people are kind of like they're back and forth with it. But I was kind of looking at this guy's stats, and I know stats aren't everything, but over the last 3 years, I mean, outside of Jermaine Johnson's 2023 year at 17.5 pass rusher rate, he outdid him like every year of his career. Plus, he had about 10 sacks in the last 2 years, where Jermaine hadn't. And I know it's a little bit higher than I would have expected, but he also was a 7th ranked edge rusher according to ESPN and NFL Network. So I don't think it's a bad signing. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think it's a bad signing. I think the value fits. And if you kind of look a little more into his metrics, he's kind of, a better upgrade over what they've had in that spot. I mean, he's had 10 sacks over the last 2 seasons. You need a third edge. He's Michael Clemens, he's better than what we've had there.
Yeah, but I think he's way better than Michael Clemens, though. I mean,
Yeah,
he might
I
be
mean,
better
look,
than Jermaine Johnson, to be fair.
I don't know about that, but it's basically a 2-year deal for him at the end of the day. It says 3 years, $36 million. It basically, if you look at the guaranteed, as I'm looking up right now, it's essentially a 2-year contract.
Okay. I mean, but you can live with that. And even if he's rotational, it's still something. And I mean, I feel like every Jets fan are thinking that either it's going to be Arvell Reyes, David Bailey, or maybe Ruben Bain in the first pick or the second pick overall in the draft. So it's not like he's a number one. So I don't think it's a bad signing.
No, I don't think so either. Again, they needed to fill the void of what was left in this defensive line room, and they've done that. You look at the depth chart now on defense, and it looks a lot better than it did, 5 hours ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it does. And I think Moochie's doing a great job, to be honest with you. I mean, we actually might have a GM here. I mean, I'm looking at some of these deals. I mean, outside of the, the first trade of the day, it wasn't like super splashy, but it's been pretty solid. Like it's sound additions. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, what would you grade the day at the end of the day?
I've been encouraged, but again, like David, I don't want to give a grade yet because like they're not done yet. Like they still have to figure out guard. AVT's gone, Simpson's gone. What's their plan there? They need another receiver. They got to obviously figure out the other safety spot. They got to figure out the other linebacker spot. I'm not convinced they're done just yet. So, but I think it's a good start. Again, I think what you need to know about what Muji did this morning with that 7th round trade for Minka, that's good GMing there. That's like he's got a good feel. Yeah. And none of these contracts have been bad. They've been pretty much market value. There's been a real plan. Again, they don't have the quarterback thing figured out. That's the biggest thing. So if I'm grading what they've done so far, I give it an approval grade. Like, a pass or fail, I'd give them a pass so far. It's tough to put a letter grade on it though, because we're only a couple hours in. Technically, we're 4 hours and 10 minutes in.
No, I know, but we're all excited about this. Jets fans. Just trying to 100%. See.
Hey, I'd rather be excited and positive than what we've been talking about for months already. So at least there's that.
Yeah, and it's at least this is a positive day. I mean, at least we win the off season, so that's always a fun part about it. And
although last year they didn't, and then they didn't win the regular season either. So I'll take this. Okay,
that's fair. That's actually a really good point.
Last year they were signing Josh Reynolds as the big offensive splash outside of Fields, Brandon Stevens, who none of us had ever heard of.
And
this year they signed some players we've heard of. They traded for a top 10 safety in Minka. Demario Davis still was one of the 10 best middle linebackers last year, even at his age. They actually added some real players.
Yeah. Do you think this opens up, though, the 16th pick now to Ione, the guard, the top-ranked guard in the draft?
If they don't sign a notable guard, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then the last question I had is, and I apologize if I say his name wrong, Kingsley Enagbare?
Yeah, I butchered it earlier. Kingsley, hold on, I had the phonetic pronunciation. Enagbare.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I was looking at his stats too, and I know this is just stats and all that kind of stuff, but like he was really highly rated in like run defense on PFF. His highest rating over his entire career was 28.1. And he also added on his best season a 9% pass rush rate as not even a full-time player, as an alternate. I mean, I think it was 1 year, $10 million. I mean, a little higher than I think a rotational player might get, but I don't think a bad signing. I mean, he, you know, might have the opportunity to play a lot more than just as a rotational player. What do you think?
I don't know enough about him. I haven't done any film on him. He got signed as I was already live. So we'll have Joe blow it on and break him down. But again, they signed him to a 1-year deal for $10 million. He started a lot of games. He's played in all 17 games since being drafted, so he's been durable. I think he's a depth piece more than anything else. I wouldn't expect much.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. And then if you have time, last thing, if you had these three options on the 3rd overall pick, they can, assuming we took Reese in the 1st, and by some miracle, Lemon or Tyson falls in this with our 2nd pick, would you look at CJ Allen, Brandon Sizee, the cornerback, or now with this signing, I don't know if Hasley as a safety would be an option anymore, but what would you think?
You're asking me at pick 33?
I'm at pick 44.
Danny, I can't think that far ahead. I mean, I could just throw out a random player, but like, I have no idea. We were 4 hours into free agency. I'm not going to like pretend like I have an idea what they're going to do at 44. For all we know, they're going to trade that for Brian Thomas Jr., who, breaking news, SNY is reporting the Jaguars are entertaining offers for Brian Thomas Jr. So he's available. And if I'm the Jets, I would seriously pursue it because you're seeing what the money's going for wide receivers. Take a chance on a guy that his rookie year put up 1,300 yards. Now, you got to figure out what happened with his production this year. You know, why did it slip? Was he not a good fit for what Liam Cohen's offense is? Would he be a better fit for what the Jets' offense is going to be? But I'd trade pick 44. I'd be open to it, but I got to get more info on that. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Let's get to more of your calls right now. Appreciate everyone who wants in on today's show. It's a lot of fun when we got a lot of breaking news to react to.
My name is Lumpy, not Lumpy. I'm not De Niro, just call me Lumpy. I had a mullet the last time the Jets were winners. Don't call me Lumpy, 'cause I'm friggin' Lumpy.
Booyah, guys. That's what I got to say. I'm going to bring the emotion today, Jake. It's freaking crazy. I mean, we had stuff going on. I love it. Got to
Look
think
at you
about
calling outside today. Weather's beautiful. Lumpy's in a positive mood.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course you got to be. Look at the weather. Everything is breaking for us. Listen, this team was so void of talent on the defensive side. It was a mess, right? We had nothing. We had like a college team if we were lucky. I mean, some college teams probably would have beat us. Muji had a lot of work to do, and I think he's building it right. He's structuring this team without going out with the splashy splash stuff. He's going out and he's building a foundation of leaders, which is what we need. You get the young guys in the draft, you get the foundation of leaders through the free agency, and he's building it right. So far so good with Muji. I like that. This is really good. He has a plan. We're seeing a plan, right, Jake? Didn't last year? It took us forever. The first day of free agency, nobody was signed. We didn't know what was going on, right? Your late show, something broke. Isn't that what happened last year?
Yeah, typically when I end the show, that's when the signings happen.
Right. So, I mean, it's just he has a plan. He's going after people. He's making phone calls. Although Linderbaum, it was too much. We have a whole team to build. We can't expend that kind of money. I understand that. I would have loved to have him have that foundation piece like Kevin Mawai. That would have been freaking great. I would have loved that. But he has a plan. And I love that. I love that he's going after these people that are leaders, that are people that have done it before at a high level, regardless if they can do it in the future or not. But he's signing these people to build a foundation to the defense is what we need. And we need dudes and dogs. I've been saying it forever. And we got dudes and we got some dogs coming on here. So as we go along, I mean, the quarterback will determine the architect. The architect being Muji. I'm calling him the architect because he's got to build it. Whether or not he gets that name or not, we'll find out. And we're going through the junkyard of quarterbacks right now. So what he does at quarterback is really going to define him, like JD. Does he go in, make a mistake, and then back his mistake up with somebody, right? Which JD didn't do. He threw everything in there, put all, kitchen sink and everything in there, right? So hopefully Muji has a plan where he can back up his quarterback. He grabs somebody else. What are we going to do? I mean, I trust in him picking the right guy there because so far he's done the right thing. Has he made a really bad move? Has he extended something out, Jake? Have you seen
Lumpy, the Fields signing was an unmitigated disaster. He's got to own that. And they didn't have a real plan behind Fields. And they didn't draft the quarterback. But look, again, I'm not trying to dunk all over Darren Muji. I'm encouraged. But everyone who's so excited right now, if Geno Smith is the week 1 starter, what is your expectations for the 2026 Jets? So we also got to be real about what this team still is. I think they have a GM though, but the Muji and Douglas thing, you can't even compare the two because Douglas got to take Zach right away because he was picking second and there was a quarterback to take. The Jets aren't in a spot where Muji could take a quarterback, and there wasn't one for them to really take at 7 last year either. If you think about it, I suppose they could have taken Dart, but no one was saying that at the time at 7. We thought Dart would go in the second round or late 1. I ended up going late 1. So it's a different situation, but I think there's a scenario where Muji could be here and Glenn's not if Glenn can't show real improvement at the end of this season. That's how I'm looking at it. This man won his Asmaniac Madness matchup earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to Kyle Clifton. Kyle.
What's up, Jake? How are you?
Hello, Kyle.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you. And he's gone. Great internet connection there from the number 1 seed. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls in the meantime. Rich is on the line. Hopefully we hear him this time. Hello, Rich.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had to reboot the whole goddamn house. The signings today, I think, has a big Carl Dunbar feel to it. As far as little influence, and I'm excited that we signed him as a coach. It's gonna, we got a lot of new people on the line, and the fact that we got linemen, got Demario, who started as an OLB but is now an inside linebacker. We've got a defensive play caller to set up the people. This tells me I'm 100% sure that we're going to get Reese in the second pick now. And Reese is going to be the stand-up outside linebacker who, like Lawrence Taylor, stood up on the opposite side of the tight end. I mean, you could see Taylor, you would move back and forth depending on where the tight end was, and is going to put pressure on. And that's the piece that right now fits perfect based on the signings today.
So you don't think they're going to take Reese at 2?
No, I said I think 100% they're gonna.
Oh, yes. I was going to say, I think this means more likely than not, they're definitely going to take Arvell Reese at 2.
Yeah, 100%. We got a bunch of linemen, did all that, got some, DEs. We got the experienced middle linebacker. You know the way it is: center, linebacker, safety. You got to have brains in those 3 positions up the middle. It's like baseball. And you got to have the brains up the middle to call the plays. And Reese now fits perfect based on the signings today, because you could see the signings that we did today. We don't have to go high on a safety now. We don't have to go high on another DT. So I think this is just putting the spotlight on Arvell Reese, and I'll go to my grave saying he's going to play the Lawrence Taylor stand-up offensive linebacker who's 1 yard or on the line almost outside linebacker. He's going to play. He's perfect for that role.
Well, I mean, I hope if he's 10% of Lawrence Taylor, we got something.
Yeah, I get it, but you know what? He's got some of the same skill set. He's got to put maybe a little bit of weight on, but my quarterback is the same as you. Brissett, Gino, and whoever we pick in the 5th and 6th round. I'm not.
I would take Ty at pick in the 2nd round if he's there.
Excuse me, I didn't say Ty.
No, I'm saying I would personally.
You would take Ty in the 2nd round?
Yeah, I wouldn't take him at 16, but I would take him in the 2nd round if he makes it there.
I don't know.
The chance of him potentially hitting and then not having to use any of my 3s next year or 3 firsts on a quarterback, to me, it's worth it because they're not going to win anything with Brissett or with Geno. So I'd rather let Ty play the last 10 games when the Jets fall out of it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that Frank Reich loves him so much he would go off his mantra of taller quarterbacks looking over the 6'8" defensive lines of today?
I do, because they wanted Kyler, and Kyler is going to go to Minnesota.
Did Frank Reich wanted Kyler?
The Jets were seriously and are seriously pursuing Kyler Murray. I have learned that. I think some of the other reporters have said that. They're desperate. So I think if they believe Ty could be good, I don't think Frank Reich's going to be like, well, he's not 6'2", he's 6'1" and change. That's not good enough for me. If they like him, they'll take him.
Who do you think had the most influence last year in getting Justin Fields, Muji or Aaron Glenn?
Well, I mean, Glenn said as much. The reason why I signed him was he was so tough to game plan against. So he used the word I. You haven't heard Glenn use the word I in any of these recent appearances. Way more of a Mooj and me type of stuff going on.
That's why I don't blame Muji too much on the Fields thing, because I think he didn't.
Yeah,
have
the
much
contract is ridiculous. $30 million guaranteed. Who are you competing with?
Yeah. Well, we'll never know, will we?
No, we won't.
I mean, you're right. It'd be absolutely stupid if there were. I always assumed there was another team that had a decent offer out there. Wouldn't you?
I don't think anyone was going to give Justin Fields $30 million and guarantee him a starting spot. Like the Jets.
That's a bad move. Then that agent fleeced us because, or lied, because that's ridiculous. Because you had 5 years of film on the guy of shit.
Correct.
And the reason I say Aller or Beck in the late round, if we, okay, if you want Ty, fine, but if you go the other way, Nussmeier's gonna go earlier, isn't he?
Nussmeier could go anywhere from the second round on. I don't know. There's not a clear third quarterback after you got the first two.
Would you want a third round on him?
That's probably the earliest I would take him, but they don't even have a third rounder. So they have 2 forts. Would I use one of my forts on him? Okay, I could listen on that.
Oh yeah, I'd do that. But you wouldn't move some assets to move into the third form, would you?
Probably not. I don't love him that much.
Yeah. Well, it means that Sonny Styles, who's probably not going to be with the Jets with the signings we made today.
Well, he wasn't going to be with the Jets, I think, anyway, because I think he's going to go to the Giants at 5.
A lot of people have been blowing smoke lately on him, though.
At 2 to the Jets, I think that's too high to take him. I think they're going to take Reese.
I think we're going to, who our receiver is going to be? I don't know his name, but he's going to be picked on the first day of day 2. You know how everybody, there's always those studs that drop, and usually 50% of them are wide receivers. And there's going to be, I think there's going to be, that's where we're going to get our wide receiver on. There's going to be a gem there. It always happens.
There could be. Well, think about it like this, Rich. T. Higgins was picked 33 by the Cincinnati Bengals. So receivers do make it there. And it's a good receiver class. The depth at receiver is in the second and third rounds, all the draft people are saying. So can you get a Chris Brazel from Tennessee there? I think you could. Big 6'4" receiver, ex-vertical type player. Could you get Elijah Surratt, who I loved at Indiana, or his teammate Omar Cooper Jr.? Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. Denzel Boston. Does he go in round 1? Some of these guys are going to fall. Or do you wait till day 3 and take a chance on like Jacoby Lane or Ted Hurst, Malachi Fields? Like, there's a lot of receivers. If the Jets don't trade for Brian Thomas Jr., I could see them definitely taking one of those players at pick 33. 100%. All right. Appreciate everyone who is currently waiting to get on. I'm going to try and get to as many people as we can. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours after doing 2 hours this morning. You won't find more live Jet coverage than right here, baby. Keep it rolling.
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
It's my lucky day. I always complain that the Jets never got any Longhorns. Now we're getting the whole 2020 team. Look at this, Jake. What are your thoughts on my boy? It took me 3 years to get his name right, Ossai. Now I got 3 more years to perfect it. What are your thoughts on my boy?
I think he's a nice Michael Clemens replacement. Is he not?
He's yeah. Yeah, and
Is he not their third
that's
edge?
kind of they kind of call him an edge rusher, but he's more of a run stuffer. Well, at least he was in college. He's more of a run stuffer than he is a pass rusher. So yeah, I would say he's the Clemens replacement. He's going to be better than Clemens, but that's the kind of role that you would expect him to have on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not going to pretend like I watched every snap of him, but I think for what they paid, I think he's young. He's been durable. I have no problem with it. He's had 10 sacks the last 2 years. Like, that's a nice third edge.
Is that an acceptable jersey? Joseph Ossai.
You spend your money how you want to spend your money.
Is that an acceptable? Is it better or worse than an Adams jersey? Tony Adams.
It's better.
Okay. Is it better or worse than a Gibson jersey?
It's better because at least you're a fan of Texas.
Okay. I'm gonna get a sweat jersey.
Tony Adams didn't play at University of Texas. Gibson didn't play at University of Texas.
Adams was good his first 2 years, wasn't he? Or decent, pretty good? Was he
I
not?
thought his rookie year he wasn't bad.
I don't know what the hell happened to him.
Well, I think coaching matters, right? Saleh, to his credit, had guys that were good for specific roles they signed him for.
That's fair. That's fair. And then Muji, he's not afraid to let his hands go, to use a boxing analogy. Like, whether or not he's good at fighting, we're going to find out. But he ain't afraid. He ain't afraid to get in there and mix it up. He's not afraid to get in the pocket and throw his hands. That's why it's surprising to me he hasn't made a move on quarterback, because like he's clearly ain't afraid, right? He's going to put his balls on the table here and do what he thinks is best. But Kyler's going to Minnesota. We kind of talked about the other day. That looks like a foregone conclusion. Willis, do you think it's no quarterback wants to sign here, or do you think he's slow playing this? Do you think we're going to draft a quarterback?
If you're Kyler, why would you choose the Jets over Minnesota? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and Malik Willis too, right? Like, I don't know if the Jets are interested in him.
One, I don't think they were. But two, would you rather go with a coach and GM who was with you in Green Bay and could tailor the offense to your strengths and knows exactly what you like? Or would you rather go to the Jets, whose coaching staff could be gone after a year when you sign on the dotted line?
No, I'm with you. This would be the last place I would. This would be the last place I would. If I was a quarterback like Murray on my last legs, this would be the last place that I.
If you have options, you're not picking the Jets. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, no matter what your situation. If you're a veteran trying to win Super Bowl, you ain't picking the Jets. If you're a retread like Murray on your last legs, you ain't picking the Jets. And if you're an upstart like Malik Willis, you ain't picking the Jets. Like, who's picking the Jets? Nobody. Somebody with no options. Justin Fields. Like, that's who picks the Jets. Like, it's a bad situation. So I guess it is going to be Brissett or something like that. Like somebody that doesn't have any other options to start. And then Arizona, I told you, Arizona is going to take Ty Simpson at 3. I'm telling you right now. You could Boomtown mark that down. He's going 3 to Arizona. He's going to get way overdrafted. Whether he works out or not, who knows? But he's getting overdrafted for sure. He's the second quarterback in a 1 quarterback draft. Like, he's getting overdrafted.
Yeah, but it could be like the year what's his name got drafted, Pickett, where there's only 1 quarterback that goes.
Yeah, that was a 1 quarterback and a no quarterback. Well, Malik Willis was in that draft.
Yeah, but he was a 3rd round pick. My point is, I think Simpson can make it to 33.
I don't think he makes. I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't go to Arizona at 3, then someone would have to trade up for him.
Well, my point is, with Willis now going to Miami, the Dolphins aren't taking him at 11.
Right. That was my original thought. Was he
right? And the Cardinals aren't going to take him at 3. So unless Arizona trades back into the first round, so the Jets can't take him at 33 because Arizona's at 34, I think there's a chance Ty Simpson makes it to pick 33 and the Jets could take him.
Someone's going to trade in though at the end of the first round. I would think. Like, I don't think he makes it to 33.
Maybe the Jets do it just to make sure they get him.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I'm not really. You say, like, you mentioned this. He's the son of a coach. He's going to interview well. He knows how to play the position from a mental standpoint, right? Like, he knows the answers to the questions on the test. Can he go out there and do it? Right? I don't know, but he's going to interview really well. There are people who think he's talented. He was a really, recruited guy out of high school, was like a 5-star or a 4. Like, he's a really recruited guy. So there's someone out there who thinks he's good. Someone believes in his talent. Like, someone may overdraft him. And then it's like, I don't know. If you had to guess right now, you would say Brissett's the starting quarterback?
I think they're going to trade for Brissett and sign Geno, or they'll trade for Carr to have his rights and sign Brissett. I keep coming back to Brissett or Wentz being one of them. I think one of those two interchangeable with another one of the other two names I just mentioned. It just you connect the dots. Geno was linked to the Jets, but he wanted to go to Miami. He can't go to Miami now with Willis there. So Geno in a Brissett quarterback room, maybe a Geno and Wentz, although I wouldn't like that. Geno and Carr. I think that's kind of what we're looking at right now, unless there's a complete curveball we're not thinking of. But I mean,
you still take
would have
Brissett over Geno. Geno's last time. Geno and Carr last on my list, right? Yeah,
I rather Brissett over Geno, 100%. I think Geno is the backup competing with Brissett. That's at least you get two quarterbacks who aren't like inept. You know, the options aren't great. Again, like,
would you rather take Brissett or Geno or Carr, or would you rather just kind of roll the dice with like this, do the stupid Tanner McKee thing, or maybe get Spencer Rattler? Would you try to do an unproven guy, or would you just go with a retread?
I'm open to the unproven guy. I don't think that's what they're going to do, though.
I don't think so either. I think that I mean
they're trying to win. They're trying to save their jobs. You don't make the moves they made today and just be like, "Oh, we're tanking. We know we got a third year."
Listen to what you're saying. Like, we're trying to win, so we're going to get Geno Smith. Like,
is what Geno Smith is, though, better than what if Tanner McKee just sucks?
Yeah, no, I get it.
We don't know.
Yeah, I get it. And like, so I'm looking. The defense looks vastly improved. Like, maybe we won't be that bad. But then I look at, and we still don't have a quarterback. Like, the only thing we have on offense are tackles and one wide receiver. We have a running back too. I mean, he's going to be back. So, all right. But we still like need the quarterback and like a plethora of other players on offense. So I'm trying to be optimistic. Like, all right, the defense is vastly improved. Like, it's way better now than it was 24 hours ago. But the offense is still an absolute disaster. We don't have
the Jets have had top 3 defenses and they tapped out at 7 wins. So it's like, again, it's the defense will be the defense shouldn't be an embarrassment this year. But at the end of the day, they're not going to get competent quarterback play. Your ceiling is capped at 7 wins at best.
7 wins would be a banner season for us. We'd hang that up in the rafters. 7 wins. Yeah. All right. I guess that's really all I got, Jake.
Gary, I appreciate it. Luppy wanted to respond to something I said about Fields. So Luppy, go ahead, and then I got more calls.
How we doing, Jake?
Yeah, I'm
Everything
good,
good?
Luppy. Yes, I'm giving you a chance to respond. I saw you message
Just
me.
wanted to respond a little bit to the whole Fields thing. Listen, I think Aaron Glenn was a little bit poignant, saying that he can coach him up. It was the whole coach up thing going on there. I think that Muji just trusted in Aaron Glenn at that point to hire Fields, to bring him aboard. I think now he's doing his own thing. I think that's what he's doing now. I think he's doing his own thing. He's got a plan, and I think he's moving forward. And I think that's not going to happen. I know that we are, like I said, going through the junkyard of quarterbacks right now, and I don't know who we're going to take. I really don't. There's not much out there, but we're starting to build the team right within and working with leadership, and that's what I'm excited about. That's my point, is that I think Muji is taking the reins in his own hand, and he's not going to ride the coattails of Glenn. There was a separation from last year to this year, and you can see it. You can see him what he's doing.
Let's hope he learns. That's all we can hope for, man. Thanks, Luppy. All right, more of your calls. The hamburger's next. Hello, Burger.
What's up, Jake? I don't know how my service is going to be as I'm getting into that dicey area. I just wanted to call and say what's up. I'm kind of still in Jets rehab right now, so I didn't even know it was free agency today, to be honest, dude. I've been so busy. I got a promotion today at work, so things are on the up and up on my end. But I like some of the moves. I think getting some veteran guys in there on defense will help, but I can't really be excited, man. From what we had last year and then the coaching staff, and until it's proven on the field, it is what it is. It is, I still expect Aaron Glenn to be gone by fucking week 7 of this year coming up. I just don't see him being around. I really don't. I don't think he's got the acumen to be an NFL coach. He's better off being a defensive coordinator somewhere or an assistant. It's hard for me to get excited at this point for this team until I see them put something on the field that resembles an NFL team. So, but I just wanted to call in and say what's up. I got a busy week going in, and I know when am I up on your ASMANIAC March Madness?
What region are you in?
God, I don't even remember.
Well, get back to me on that, Burger. All
I
right,
will.
because I don't have the whole bracket memorized yet.
Yeah, you don't have it with you, but just wanted to say hello and just let you know I'm still around.
Well, Hamburger, I appreciate you, man, and we'll get you that when we get through it. If you call in and ask me when your matchup is, I have no idea when it is off the top of my head. You just have to do math by just knowing that we do a Asmaniac Madness matchup per show. So here's the schedule the rest of the week for the round of 64. We're going from the left side of the bracket to the right side. So we started with Kyle. Hamburger, I believe, is on the right side of the bracket. He's against Chef Kevin, if I remember correctly, right? We did the food matchup the committee had. Although I could be dead wrong. I don't remember off the top of my head. I got a ton going on my screen right now, so we'll figure it out. But we go in order of the bracket. So if you are in the inside outside, we're doing your region first, then the Dangerous Alliance, followed by the Extraordinary, and then the Grown Ass Man region. All right, couple things here. Veteran Jet fan wrote, you won't hear of any signings on Murray, Cousins, or Geno till Wednesday. So they won't be official till Wednesday. But since those teams publicly came out and said they're moving on, those players are allowed to meet with teams and negotiate deals that then can officially be signed on Wednesday. So just because they're not technically free agents by NFL rules, they are allowed to meet with teams. That's why you're hearing buzz about Tua going to Atlanta. In fact, I'm seeing it right now. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. Tua signing a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. So you'll be able to hear news about quarterbacks. The deal cannot become official, though, till Wednesday, and Tua's going to Atlanta. So thank God we don't have to deal with Tua as Jet fans. That would be the worst. That would be such a disaster. No one wants that. No one wants Tua on the New York Jets. Tua doesn't want to be on the Jets, and we don't want him. Thank God. All right, more of your calls right now. Ralphie's next. Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, how's it going, Jake?
What's up, Ralphie?
Yeah, Tua does not want to be in New York. He was too cold in Alabama when my son was there. It snowed like one day, like a half an inch. He wanted to get out of there. So it's good. He's in a dome. He's used Alabama plays in Atlanta a lot. He's familiar with that dome. Good for him.
They have 2 lefty injury-prone quarterbacks in Atlanta now with Tua and Penix.
Yeah. I was calling because I really like that Minka trade. It had me thinking. It's hard for us to get free agents right now. We have to outbid everybody else. They don't like to come to the New York at the moment. The coaching situation is sort of unstable. So maybe like trading for existing contracts is the way we go. Maybe like a Brian Thomas, maybe like a Brandon Ayuk. I don't know, something like that. Using our money in that regard. It still says we have 50 million or so in cap space. And I would think maybe we're going to see less flashy moves, even mid-sized moves, and maybe we just try to trade for guys that are disgruntled or something because we have the cap space. What do you think about that?
I could see it. I don't know who necessarily these players would be, but the one thing that Muji's done a good job at is acquiring these veterans for day 3 picks. So there could be more coming.
Yeah, I mean, especially if someone signs a splashy contract now, let's just say like a good offensive lineman goes somewhere else. Maybe then there's an offensive lineman on that team that they might need to get rid of because they have to clear some cap space. So I'm thinking maybe we might go more in that direction, and that would still help us. And maybe it's better we have so much dead cap space right now this year, 91 million, thanks to Aaron Rodgers. I think that will, and if we cut Justin Fields and spread that over 2 years, that'll be another 10 or 11 million. So we'll have $100 million of dead cap space probably for this year. So that seems the way to go. I wanted to just publicly say I voted for Rob because he comes to some of your Asmaniac events and he's a big ass guy. So I just want him to know that I voted for him. In case he sees me at the bar and has a couple too many like Andrew C. and wants to stomp me out. At least I voted for him.
Ralphie, good call. I'm sure Rob appreciates that. Vote. I haven't checked the standings because I've been trying to keep track of all the transactions. Rob, the Jet fan, is up 61-39, so he is starting to pull away from Allen. We're going to get to more of your calls. Appreciate everyone who's holding on. Quick update on some signings that occurred over the last 45 minutes or so now. Tremaine Edmonds to the Giants, Alante Taylor to the Titans, JFM, we covered that live, to the Titans. Titans also signing Cordell Flott. They're basically signing every Jet and Giant player from 2022 to 2025. That's the solid Dable magic going on in Tennessee. Seahawks re-signed Josh Jobs. The Broncos re-signed J.K. Dobbins. Bengals signed Brian Cook away from the Chiefs. He was a jet target potentially. Chargers signed tight end Charlie Kohler. Those are some transactions. We also just got the Tua going to the Atlanta Falcons update. We'll see if there's other quarterback transactions that happen. Feels like Kyler is going to end up in Minnesota. If not, the Jets should definitely be trying to make a run at him. He's the best of what's out there. He's 28. Take a chance. Cost you nothing. Didn't want to trade for Kyler. Was vehemently against that. But if it cost you nothing, you got to be open to it. This signing or this transaction is interesting. The Packers are releasing two-time Pro Bowl guard/center Elgton Jenkins. Could he be an AVT replacement? Jets signed Josh Myers a year ago. He was part of that Packer offensive line. We got 800 people watching, only 458 likes. Click the thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you're new around here, we cover the Jets and talk about them for 4 hours, Monday through Friday, and then do a Saturday or Sunday show year-round during the season. We do a post-game after every Jet game. More calls. Jack Talks Jets is next. Hello, Jack.
What's up, Jake? Long time no talk. How you doing?
Jack, where you been?
Just suffering with every other Jet fan, but I wanted to get this off my chest, right? I feel like not a lot of people or not enough people are talking about this, right? Is why, if out of all the good things that happened today to the New York Jets, why let go of arguably your best special teams player who won you the Falcons game, was a huge contributor in a lot of games this season in Nick Folk? Because in my opinion, reliable kickers are so hard to replace, or not so hard, but I would say they're fairly difficult to replace, especially with the level that Nick Folk was at in today's NFL. And special teams doesn't really, special teams often gets overlooked a lot until it becomes a.
Jack, we lost your audio. Jack, call back, Jack. Call back. Lee is up next in the meantime. Hello, Lee.
Jake, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Lee. What's
this
going
is like
on?
This is like a Jerry Lewis marathon from when we were kids. Remember those 24-hour marathons? It feels like that's what you're doing right now.
All day, man. That time of year.
I mean, you're going to be on until midnight, I guess, tonight with all of this.
Well, I'm going to end the stream at some point,
couple
and
of
then I'll be
points.
back when there's more signings. But go ahead, Lee.
Absolutely. A couple of quick points. First off, do you think Cousins is going to become available now that Tua was signed in Atlanta?
The Cousins has been available. I mean, they were always moving on from him.
But I mean, officially, because they really he's still under contract right now, isn't he? Have they released him?
They announced at the combine that they were going to release him. So Cousins, just like Tua and just like Kyler, while technically not released until the new league year, they could speak with other teams because the team has already announced that they're going to be released.
Because it feels like Cousins would be, when you guys would, but it's funny, you guys, you had the two guys on earlier today debating Carr versus Kyler, and it felt like that South Park episode where they were talking about turd sandwich versus giant douche.
I know.
Like there was just no right answer. There's no good answer there. I don't like either one of them. But here's the truth. And you keep talking about Ty Simpson possibly at 33. That would be the biggest waste of a pick on the planet. Ty Simpson, some years there is just one quarterback in the draft worth taking, and that's it. And there's nobody in the first or second round that's even worth taking. And Ty Simpson, you can get a premium starter for the next 8 years at number 33. That is a premium pick right there. And Ty Simpson, I don't believe, he had 15 starts in college. He wasn't even good for all of them. It wasn't like he was, Joe Burrow for 15 starts. He was a good quarterback for a lot of them, but it wasn't elite, and he doesn't have the experience. And like you said, he's undersized. I don't see the attraction for him. The truth of the matter is,
he's not. Yeah, we're not talking about Diego Pavia here. Here's the argument for Simpson. The first 8 games of the year, he was on his way to being a top 10 pick. Then he suffered an injury. Alabama had no running game. Their receivers dropped, I think, more passes than any in the SEC, or they were right up there. Again, people could say these are excuses, but they're also reasons as well. It's why I wouldn't take him at 16. The biggest reason, you already said it, 15 career starts. But if he's there at 33 and I got a chance to take him, I'm at least taking a swing because you either have a quarterback or you don't. And I think that he could be a good quarterback. I don't know if he could do that with the Jets, but I'll at least take the chance because I do like him as a talent, and I like his pedigree, and I like the fact that He's the son of a coach. He played for Saban. He never transferred. Like, he's an older prospect, even though he's only played 15 career starts. He's not a guy taking round one, but I think he's a reasonable second round quarterback swing if you're the Jets. When you have
Jake, let me ask you something.
Anyway.
Let me ask you something, though. Let's say he went back to school and he came out next year.
Yep.
Do you think he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks coming out next year? Do you think he's better than Arch and Dante Moore and, like a Lenore Sellers or whoever? I mean, do you think he's going to be better than and Chambliss?
He was better than Lenore Sellers this year. Lenore Sellers was
no, I'm talking about, but I mean, where do you think he would rank for next year? Do you really believe he would be better than all those guys? Because I got to be honest with you, I think the right move at quarterback right now is I know what your argument's going to be. You're going to say Glenn has to win now. I know that. I already know that argument. But I don't believe in Glenn as a coach anyway. I honestly believe Frank Reich's going to be the coach the second half of the season. I think the writing is on the wall for that. And I mean, you saw the way that team played down the stretch this year. It was the most embarrassing I've ever seen. I think the right move for quarterback is really to play for the 2027 draft. I really do. I believe I want Arch Manning. I'd be happy with Dante Moore, but there is no quarterback in free agency or this draft that is going to move the needle at all.
Did you know who Fernando Mendoza was last year? Like, you're just saying
and that's even more to the point.
But
that's even more to the point. There could be other quarterbacks that fall into that spot.
But you're saying, would Ty Simpson be in the conversation a year from now? How do we know?
What I'm saying is he looked the part for about half a season. And that, I mean, to me, that's not worth the 33rd pick. You want to say 4th round? I love it. And I know he's not going to be there in the 4th round. But if you tell me I could have him at 33 or Drew Aller in the 4th round, I would take Drew Aller 10 times out of 10 in the 4th round over Ty Simpson at 33. 33, you could get an Anthony Hill Jr. or like a Kayla McDonald or like an absolute impact player at 33. Lee Hunter, I mean, like a guy like that. These are the guys, or like you said, even Denzel. Like what receiver falls, Denzel Boston. Assuming they don't make the trade for Brian Thomas Jr., which I would love. Also, if you could tell me 44 for 2 more years and a 5th-year option on his rookie deal, I would take that right now. Also, I agree with that 100%. I just don't think the quarterback solution is going to happen this year. It's not going to happen this year, and to force it at 33 is a mistake.
But Lee, here's the difference. You and I fundamentally disagree on how good Ty Simpson can be. You think there's no chance for him to be a franchise quarterback. I don't think there's a 0% chance of that. I think he can be good. I know there's people that really like Ty Simpson. We did film reviews with him, with Sabo, and with Joe Blewett. And they swear that if he was in the same spot that Fernando Mendoza was in, it'd be a real conversation. So, again, I don't want Ty at 16 because I think history tells me it's too big of a risk to take him in round 1. But if you took him at 33 when you still have pick 44 in the 2nd round, that's a worthwhile swing, I think, at the most important position in sports. What if he does hit? What if he's this year's Tyler Shuck? And then all of a sudden you don't need to take a quarterback a year from now. No guarantee you're in position to even get the quarterback you want, oh, by the way. We could hope the Jets are marching for Arch and they could get him. But what if the teams in front of them also need quarterbacks and the Jets win too many games they can't trade up? Again, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you Ty Simpson's awesome. I have concerns taking him at 16. But you have to take swings at the quarterback spot, and I'm willing, when I have 2 seconds, to take a swing at 33. Because the best case is, what if he's good? And then all of a sudden you got 3 first-round picks in 2027 you don't need to use on a quarterback. You could trade one of them and get even more picks, or get a future one in 28 and really keep building your team here. Again, if they go into the year with Geno Smith and Carson Wentz, you don't want something to watch this year if they take Simpson so he'll play the last 10 games of the year at some point? I mean, again, I understand not taking him at 16, but I think the way we talk about Ty Simpson, like he just sucks, there's no chance for him to be any good, I don't think that's fair either. I think he can be good. Let me go back to Jack and see if we can hear him for the full call. Jack, continue your rant on Nick Folk. You're very sad about this?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, I would, like I was going on before, I don't think, like, a lot of Jet fans, I feel like, are overlooking this. They're saying, oh, it's just a kicker, blah, blah, blah. He's 41 years old. But, like I said before, I think getting a reliable kicker like how Nick Folk was last year, because to me he was a top 5 kicker in last year's league or in last year's statistically, And I think that's it. Finding a reliable kicker that can play to the strength that Nick Folk had last season is going to be pretty difficult for the Jets this season. I don't want to go through another season like how they did in 2024 with Greg Zuerlein, Andres Carlson, and whoever the hell was kicking for the Jets that season. I just don't want to go through that again. And the same thing also happened with the kicker Matt Amendola, I believe that was like 5 years ago, where the Jets went through him, Eddie Pinheiro, and Alex Kessman for one game, who missed like 2 extra points. So I don't know. I could be wrong as well, because I'm not really familiar with how many free agent kickers there are out there, or if we can get a good UDFA kicker after the draft. I just see this move as a pretty dumb move. I think it's the only bad move the Jets made today, and I just want to get your opinion on this, because I started watching the show, I'd say around 20 minutes ago, and I'm not really sure if you covered this already. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I would have brought him back, Jack. I think it's disappointing they didn't. I'll give the Jets the benefit of the doubt to see what other moves they're going to make at kicker. But I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I just would have preferred to bring back Nick Folk. All right. We got some significant quarterback news I want to get into here, and I'll tell you why I believe it is significant.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Move. Gardner Minshew has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. So, does this now mean that Jacoby Brissett is available in a trade? Flip a 4th-round pick. The Jets have 2 of them. One is a comp pick. One is their own. Flip a 4th and get Brissett as one of the 2 veterans the Jets add for the room. Minshew to the Cards. They have now Brissett and Minshew under contract in that room. Gardner Minshew was a name I suggested for the Jets. I guess they were never interested. 1 year, $8.25 million. So Minshew and Trubisky, Mariota, all off the board. We know Malik Willis, who I don't think the Jets were ever actually in on, off the board. But the latest quarterback move here is Gardner Minshew going to compete with Jacoby Brissett? Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be signed by LaFleur, who apparently that's his guy from their Niners days? They love each other. They have a great relationship. And then Brissett's available then. Could the Jets sign Jimmy G? No one's talked about the Jets adding Jimmy G. What does Minshew going to Arizona mean for their quarterback room? Does that mean Brissett were to be available? I would hope it is. Update on Brian Thomas Jr. Zach Rosenblatt said, quote, nothing brewing right now with the Jets as far as a trade for Brian Thomas Jr. Quote, that's not to say they aren't discussing or aren't interested, but no trade is imminent right now, and they wouldn't be the only team in on him either. So some moves there. All right. Couple super chats and right back to your calls. We're 3.5 hours almost into this, baby. If you're still watching, thank you. We got over 800 of you in here. Like the video. Please be subscribed to the channel. We're bringing the latest comprehensive Jet coverage the only way we can. Kyle Clifton in the raffle for 2. I wish we were as age wary at linebacker as we were at place kicker. Well said. Omar says, hey, Jake, what do you think about Diggs as receiver 2? We can have our Swift and Kelsey with Cardi B and Diggs, LOL. Let's go, Jets. I would need to know more about the legal situation going on with Diggs. He had over 1,000 yards last year. He's a bit of an older player. I'd rather the Jets either draft a receiver or trade for Brian Thomas, who's on a rookie contract. I'd stay away from Diggs. 33. You always wonder, did he have his last good year? Like, get out from the player soon rather than too late. That's what New England did with that. I think I'm good on Stephon Diggs. If the Jets were closer to winning, if I felt they were like a Stephon Diggs away from winning, maybe I'd be more open to that, but I'm against that. More calls right now. Lou B's on the line. Hello, Lou.
Jake, I hope Nick Folk's biggest kid steps on his biggest toe today. He costed us Mendoza, and he left us. I can't believe this guy did both of those things, to be honest with you.
He cost us Mendoza, and now
He
left
did.
us.
He did,
Well,
Jake. He
did the
did.
Jets want him, or did they? Or
Of
did
course
Nick
they
Folk
wanted him. He's incredible. He just decided to go somewhere else, and he did cost us Mendoza. You know, we were losing every one of those games if it wasn't for him. That's for sure.
Look, I like Nick Folk a lot. I have no ill will towards the man. The last time this team won a playoff game, he was hitting game-winning kicks to help us. So I wish him well. I wish the Jets could have kept him.
No, I can't wish him well. He cost us Mendoza, but I hope this means Jacoby Brissett news, Jake, because this day is exciting. But if we don't get a quarterback, man, we are in for it. What do you think he's thinking?
What do I think? Who's thinking?
Muji, like, does he trade? Does he try to, take one of these guys that are just being released? What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I think they're going to sign 2 veterans. So I think the names to continue to watch are Wentz because of the connection to Reich, Carr because of the connection to both Reich and Musgrave, and then Geno because that's been reported on, especially now with Willis going to Miami, and I think Brissett because of Frank Reich, and especially now with Minshew going there. Does that open the door for the Jets to acquire Brissett in the deal?
Jake, one last question. What teams on the board still do you think want love? Obviously, 2 teams are out of that race, being Kansas City and the Saints. What teams are left that need love in that draft?
Ooh, good question. I mean, he could go as high as 3 to the Cardinals. He could go to the Titans at 4. What if the Titans just double down and say we're going to help Cam Ward by getting him the best weapon? I think the Commanders are in play for him. You can remove Kansas City. The Saints, I think, are still in play, right? I mean, Alvin Kamara's days could be numbered there. I don't know if he's going to make it out of the top 10. He's that level of a prospect.
Hopefully he slips, but I'm hoping that the Giants don't take him, obviously. But have a good day. This is an exciting day for us, and obviously, please vote for me in ASMANIAC Madness. And everyone come to the draft party in Pittsburgh on April 23rd, hosted by Jake, which is going to be incredible at McFadden's.
Are you ready, Lou? I mean, we're going to have I had like 5 people RSVP today alone. Like the turnout's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, how exciting to be a stone throw away from the draft and to be there when all this happens.
Tell people how they can get draft tickets, by the way, because I don't think a lot of people realize you could go to the draft for free.
Yeah, it's one pass on NFL. So when the NFL does something, whether you want to go to the combine, one pass is always updated to get you tickets for things like that. So right now you download one pass and you just fill in your information, and you pick how many days you want to go to, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I'm going Thursday and Friday, and that's it. They email you a pass. I already got mine. It's for free.
Easy.
Just fill it out.
And we're right next to where the draft is, so it's going down.
That's right. Very exciting. You guys have a great day.
Lou, you're the
Go
man.
Jets.
Love that hat as well. Love that new looking logo, the NY. Lou B in a positive mood. We got some super chats to get caught up on. Mike Perez in the house, a little upset with the Folk move. I'd rather draft a receiver than sign at this point. Let's make some moves to get Kobe Castro's voice. Kobe Brissett, according to the great Peter Castro. Or Carlton Wentz. Castro has successfully butchered more names than anyone. The Lup Man, who had a great call earlier, has gifted a membership. Let's get those memberships in. Luppy in 4-1.
Jets, Jets.
All right, more calls right now. The Jetaholic is on the line. Jetaholic, let it rip.
What's up, Jake? Hey, quick question before I get into my points. Is there anything different, like when you connect your YouTube to StreamYard? Because I haven't done that. I was
Is
just
there
curious.
anything different? No. It will verify your identity.
Okay, but that's the only thing that's different about it.
You could probably see the chat easier when you're on the line. I don't know the true difference though.
Okay, no, that's fine. I figured I'd just ask. But man, I was actually sleeping this morning when we got Minka. Tired taking care of the baby and stuff. But I woke up and seen that in my group chat, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. I definitely like that move. I love bringing Demario back. We definitely beefed up the D line. I'm excited. But like you've been saying, we still need the quarterback. Like until they answer that, none of this really matters.
That's the big thing. What is their plan at quarterback? And then do they set themselves up to take a swing in the draft at a guy like Ty Simpson with one of their first 4 picks? Probably not at 2. I still would be surprised at 16. Could their play be to move into the last part of the first round to take a chance on Ty? Maybe. I think he could make it to 33. If the Steelers don't take him at 21, I think Ty Simpson could get to the Jets in the second round.
That's what we got to hope for. I mean, I'm somewhat open to it at 16, but then again, I don't know. Like, again, we need a lot more talent. So if he falls to 33, that's like perfect situation to take him. But honestly, I'm probably gonna catch a lot of hate for this, but I'm higher on Geno than most. I just think, well, I've always had a soft spot for him. I had his jersey back in the day. But I just think the Raiders were just such a mess. Not that the Jets are much better, but I don't buy that he's totally washed. I understand he's not the best option, but I would still take him over like Tua and Carson Wentz.
I would take him over both those guys, and we don't have to worry
Yeah.
about Tua now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the options aren't great. You know, like, there's really no home run signing. I mean, I guess you could argue Kyler has the most potential, but even he has questions. And other than him, like, just give us some competent quarterback play, and can we just have a respectable team? I think that's all we can ask for. And then my last point was, hey, take Reese at 2, and then let's go all in on offense in the second and third round. Hopefully we can get a third round pick, but
you're gonna have to make some sort of trade to do that.
yeah, hopefully they will. But yeah, it's been a good day. Let's keep it going. Thanks for taking my call, Jake, and Jedaholics ready to go on a run.
Love it. Jedaholic, I appreciate you, man. Everyone get your last second votes in. I'm going to end this stream. The Jets will make another signing, and then we'll be back right away because that's how these things usually go for those who have been around the show for a while. Last chance to vote for either Alan or Rob. Right now, it's all Rob, the Jet fan. He's up 61-39 over Alan. Let's go, folks. Super chat from Chris. What's the noise on Anzalone? Anzalone signed a 2-year, I think it was like $17 million contract with the Bucks. So the Jets, they pivoted. They signed Demario Davis. Same type of player, same thought process. Now Davis is older, but Davis is essentially a 2-year deal for $22 million. I saw 15 of it's guaranteed. It's essentially a front-loaded 1-year deal. That's how I interpret it. What's the deal with Bitonio? He's out there. Again, AVT is a goner. If you believe Brian Costello is reporting this morning that AVT doesn't want to be on the Jets, he wants a fresh start elsewhere, he's gone. Wouldn't shock me if he goes to the Giants. I'm open to keeping AVT. I don't know what his market is, though. Ladies and gentlemen, last chance for your calls. Bob Lederer is on the line. Hello, Bob. It's not a Friday on Boy Green show. Well, this is weird to see you in this way.
Yeah, it's not Friday, is it? Well, I've been listening to everything all day long. By the way, I looked up about Brian Thomas. He developed a bad case of the dropsies this past season. So that may explain
That's enough to trade a guy that had 1,300 yards his rookie year?
Well, but all of a sudden he started dropping the ball his second year. I'm not saying that he's going to continue doing that, but why would all of a sudden Jacksonville not play him as much as they did the first year when he was Rookie of the Year and Pro Bowl? So anyway, good signings today. I mean, Demario Davis, has got to help. I think he's basically going to help their linebacking core and direct them where they have to go on each particular play. And he won't be a third down and passing situation guy, but he gives them a lot of stability that they do need. I have been a little disappointed that they haven't done anything offensively today, but they strengthened the defense, and you got to start somewhere. Which
offensive player would you have wanted them to sign that signed elsewhere? Because it feels like the high-end guys have gone, but the depth, like Romeo Dobbs, for example, is still out there, receiver. Like those players still seem available.
I'm not enough of a insider to tell you who are the guys who are like 10th to 15th best on the offensive line or wide receiver or running backs. So I can't really say anything that way because those are the kind of guys you're going to go after anyway. I think they should try to get a receiver, but I was listening to BG this morning, and the list that he ran down didn't really, except for Brian Thomas Jr., didn't really offer, I think, that much to get excited about. I'd love them to get a veteran receiver, but not just add a body. I mean, that doesn't really serve any purpose. And I got to tell you, my overall impression is if the If the experts are right and our quarterback room is Geno Smith and what's his name? He used to play for Indianapolis and Philadelphia.
Wentz.
I think, frankly, it's sayonara for Aaron Glenn. You can build a defense all you want, but if you can't get a quarterback room that's going to be able to really do something, it's a big question. I think they'll strengthen the guard position in the draft. I think they'll also draft a center in the draft because there's supposed to be a good choice of those guys. So we'll see. But I'd like him to get a decent wide receiver this week.
Well, I think that's the next move, and that could either be in the trade market. And I'll tell you what, too, Bob. They have the receiving depth in this class is really strong. Second, third round. Jets have 2 second-round picks. Could they trade? Let's say they don't take Ty Simpson. Could they trade 33 and pick up a third by moving down some spots? I could see that. Can they move out of 44 and pick up a third? They could do that. They also have 2 fourth-round picks now. So could they take both their fourths, the comp pick they got, and a fourth that's their own, move back into the third round for a receiver? A lot of options. Now, I did just see this. Breaking news, according to Gambo987. For those who don't know who Gambo987 is, that's I want to get the guy's full name here. He's a talk show host on the station in Phoenix, 98.7 Arizona Sports. Been in the market forever. John Gambadoro. I'm pretty sure he's a New York guy that's lived out in Phoenix for a long time, but he's like one of those talk show hosts that actually has information. And he's reporting that the Cardinals' current intention is to keep Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback with Minshew as the backup. So if that's the case, cross Brissett off the board, I suppose. So is it going to be Geno and Wentz? Or is it going to be Carr and Geno? I mean, if this is true that it says their current intention. Well, if the Jets offered a fourth, does that change their intention? I don't know the answer to that. There's not a ton of great options left. It's really like Geno, Carson Wentz, trade for Carr. Kyler, I think, is going to go to Minnesota. I mean, do they try and take do the old Tanner McKee or Will Levis? I mean, Kirk Cousins is still out there. Where's his landing spot? Is Kirk just going to wait until one of these quarterbacks gets hurt this year and do the old Phillip Rivers? Kirk said he wanted to play. I listened to him on Up and Adams. He said he wants to go somewhere where he could play. Again, the Jets themselves said that they weren't interested in Kirk Cousins. They leaked it out there to Brian Costello. They're not in on Cousins. I don't get it. I think that's unwise. I think Cousins would be my number one choice. If you're Cousins and you want to play, do you not have a chance to play with the Jets? So we will see. Rebecca says Jets are tanking. No, they're not. They're not tanking. They're trying to win. Why would they trade for Minka Fitzpatrick today and sign him to a 3-year extension if they're not trying to win? Shout out to King and Dream says, oh, shit, Jake is still alive, working overtime today, my boy. Are we happy with free agency? Big up to the guest in the chat. So far, so good, KND, but we all know it comes down to quarterback. Appreciate you being tuned in. We're in, let's see, 2 hours this morning. We're 5.5 hours into the show. Big fella says, trade Sherwood for Levis and a pick. I'd do that. If you're guessing who the quarterback is going to be right now, I'll say it's Geno, and I guess I got to go Wentz because there's no momentum on Carr, although I still think Carr's in play here. I really do. Carr's not being linked to any other team besides the Jets. And people can say, oh, he's not being linked to the Jets. The podcast stuff, the connection with Glenn and Carr, the connection with Reich and Carr, Musgrave and Carr, there's too much smoke there. All right, one more call, and then we'll close voting. Plus, last chance to enter the show for the Joe Namath signed helmet, Klecko signed helmet, Garrett Wilson signed helmet as our weekly prizes in this week's program. Oh, hold on. Before we get to the final call, K&D. What up, K&D? A 5 spot for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, King and Dreams. gifting 5 memberships to 5 people in the chat. Let's go. Hit it.
And here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Michelle Zajac, the Fort Worth guy, Jack K53, Junior Star H2O, and Denis Hester, all receiving a gifted membership from K&D. Give them some love in the chat. Let's go.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo.
More of your calls before we wrap, ladies and gentlemen. The closer is...
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, ASMANIACs? How you guys doing today? So let me recap the free agency moves. Let me create each of the moves. So
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jake. I like the Demario Davis move.
Can you hear me?
Grade that an A. I think the Minkah Fitzpatrick move, A. And then I really like the other small moves that the Jets made, but we really do need a wide receiver. Sucks Alex Pierce got re-signed by the Colts, but it's Tyreek Hill still on the market, Jake? Because I think he's my number one now. We got to get Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is not even healthy right now.
We should get him, though. He's good, though. He's a good wide receiver just because he's not healthy. I mean,
why would you pick the Jets?
I mean, he could be a good wide receiver, too. I mean, let's see who the quarterback is. But we do not want Carson Wentz. He should be up in gas in Jersey somewhere because the guy can't cut it. He sucks. He's boring. He stinks. He's terrible. If the Jets sign Carson Wentz, it just shows we're unserious. We get Muji and Aaron, Mr. Trust Me, bro, Glenn, have to go in the market and get a proven quarterback. Whether it's Kyler Murray, whether we trade for Will Levis, whether we get Ty Simpson, we got to fix this quarterback situation because right now we don't want Justin the Crybaby Fields to still be the quarterback. He sucks and he stinks.
What's up, guys? If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, ooh, that boy, he's jamming.
Let's see what the chat has to say. No more small receivers. Here's a headache. Mechie, I'll take over the Cheetah. Come on. Why would you take Mechie over the Cheetah? Come on. Tyreek Hill, I mean, imagine having Guy Wilson as your number one receiver. Then you have Tyreek burning that defender. You don't even know what ball is, honestly. Rebecca Wolf's is breathing. Come on, Rebecca. What do you know about football? Mechie sucks. Tyreek Hill is way better than John Mechie.
Hey, Mad Max, who'd you vote for, Allen or Rob the Jet fan?
Rob the Jet fan.
How come?
He's better. He's one of the better callers than Allen. Allen probably has the worst draft takes I've ever seen. He said, "Oh my God," in October, "I'll take Lenore Sellers number one if it's a big mistake." Is Allen on the show?
No.
Honestly, Allen has like some of the worst draft takes. He should be a scout. He should be like he's kind of like Mel Kiper. He had like some of the worst draft takes. Oh, the Jets to make a mistake if you don't try Lenore Sellers October.
What are you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Thank you very much, Mad Max. Hey, breaking free agent news. The Giants are re-signing Jermaine Illuminor, their right tackle. So now they don't have to take a tackle at number 5 in the draft. I think the Giants are going to draft Sonny Styles. I think that's the spot for Styles. I could see Jeremiah Love going 3 or 4. I also could see Love going 7 or 8. And I think the Giants are going to take Sonny Styles. Mad Max, thank you for the call. K&D, thank you for the super chat. 5 hours of hard work. Respect my G. Thank you. All right, I'm ready to close voting because I've been live for 3.5 hours here. I'm going to end the stream. It's only 5. I'm expecting more moves by the Jets. We'll be live again tonight. All right, we don't stop around here. If you're new, welcome. This is the place for all the Jet talk. Just to recap before we close poll voting. Here are the players the Jets have added. On the screen, you see they traded for Minkah. They re-signed, that's right, for a 3rd tour of duty, Demario Davis. They signed Joseph Ossai, Kingsley Enagbare, and David Onyemata. Glenn connections with Davis and Onyemata, a Duker connection with Fitzpatrick. They allowed John Simpson to leave. He signed with the Ravens. Nick Folk went to the Falcons. AVT not expected back. It's kind of a little reset here for those of you who are just tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to close poll voting in ASMANIAC Madness? Many of you have voted, a lot of you, because it's a live show. 988 votes have been cast, 989 as I hit the end button. But advancing to the next round, advancing to the round of 32 is officially Rob the Jet Fan, 62-38 over Allen. Congratulations to Rob, who is nice enough to be sticking around on the phone. We go to him right now. Hit it.
Gator, I don't understand why I don't have an intro. Gator, I need an intro, buddy. A cool intro, please. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You got Adam is too cool, Papa 73, and I don't understand why you won't create one for me. Women.
You have no sense of humor. That's the problem.
I don't.
When you have a sense of humor, then you can have an intro.
I'm worthy of an intro. All right, fine. I don't understand why I don't have an intro.
Jake.
Rob,
Can you hear me?
congratulations.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, and thank you all the Asmaniacs for voting for me as opposed to that fucking heel. I really appreciate it. Very happy. Going on to the next round. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to face Kyle Clifton. He's probably going to squish me like an Italian grape. But it is what it is. I'll do my best. That's all I can do, right, Jake?
Love it. Well said, Rob. Appreciate it. Great job.
Maniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
If I go live tonight, there won't be an ASMANIAC Madness battle because we got to give people notice. But let's look ahead to our next two. We're swapping the order for this one. Tomorrow morning, we got David T. and Josh Woolever in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, we got Peter Castro and Craig from Australia as the two battles on the show. We're making our way through each region. We're starting with the inside-outside region. We go in order, and then we get to the Dangerous Alliance region where Beastbreaker is the 1 seed. Will take on the 16th seed Leany in the opening battle of that one. So there's your little look at the bracket. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule. For those of you who are keeping track of all this stuff, shout out to Boomtown and Gator for their great work. You guys are awesome. And I appreciate everyone who tuned in to 5 hours of Jet content today on the show. Hit the like button if you haven't. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for your daily support. We could be back tonight should the Jets make more signings, which I fully expect them to, because that's how these things usually go. If not, first thing tomorrow, we're back talking about the latest from free agency. As always, go Jets, and we will talk to you guys soon. Hit it, Beast. Beast? Beast?
Oh.
Wake up.
You all think this is a joke to you. Sure, I don't have a daughter right now because she's turned out to be an asshole. And then AI God all of a sudden? I don't think so, Pally. I've worked for 3 companies, AAW, APW, and BCW. What part of the planet are you on? Playtime is over.
Gator, I need an intro, buddy. A cool intro, please.
Gator did write in something, though. Searching for an angle for you, Rob. Need you to be a little more off the rails.
I can get off the rail if he wants. Gator, give me an intro. I need an intro, Gator. Don't let me go looking for you. Do you want some of this? How's that, Gator?
That might work, Rob. There might be something there. I'm not going to tell Gator how to do his job. That's like telling Picasso how to paint. Gator wrote he just shit himself, so you got that, Rob. Maybe you'll have an intro. I don't know.
Maybe Gator will make you an open if you weren't so cheap with your super chats.
All right, fine. Hey, how do you do this? For this is what it's all about, right? Mother effing goddamn super chats.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.